turn these off or to vibrate. So if you have a phone, turn it off or vibrate so it does not disrupt the proceedings. And then the first thing we have on the agenda, this is the regular Commissioners Court meeting that we were supposed to have last week that we postponed because of the weather. And so we have public input. For those that would like to address the court, we ask that you fill out the form in the back, provided to the Assistant County Clerk up here. We ask that you go to the podium, identify yourself and the precinct that you live in, and limit your remarks to no more than 3 minutes. This is the opportunity for the court to hear the input from the public. This is not our opportunity to respond. So with that, is there anyone who would like to address the court? Okay. And is this, if this is a matter that is on the agenda? Yes. That's what I thought. I recognized you. If it's a matter that's on the agenda, we ask that you wait until that agenda item is called. That'll be more relevant that way. So, anyone else that would like to address the court? Okay, with that, then we will move on to Commissioners' comments. We'll start with Precinct 1.
Yeah, Judge, it's been a crazy couple of weeks since our last meeting.
Really?
Yeah, a little bit. I want to thank our Sheriff's Department, our Dub with Emergency Coordinator, and our VFDs for doing an outstanding job. They were prepared for this storm. They prepared for it like it was going to be Winter Storm Uri. Had everything in place, had everything ready to go. They did have the warming stations. They met the needs of the public, and I think they did so very expeditiously and very well planned. And I think this county was in a great place because of it. So I just want to thank them for that at this time. And that's it.
That's it.
Okay.
All right. Hopefully everybody knows, but the burn ban is still lifted for Precinct 2. Tomorrow night, we will hold the Aggregate Production Operators Advisory Council meeting. It's at 6 p.m. in the Union Church, and the main discussion topic will be on mine reclamation best practices. And it takes an interesting twist as a result of the study that we did with the flood, and those existing aggregate mines plus one abandoned mine took in 3 billion gallons of water, which definitely helps people downstream. So that comes into play when we talk about how we would want our mines to be reclaimed. Interesting discussion. Okay, also met with the sheriff and Kelly Hoffer and other folks from the Road and Bridge and Chris Lalinde. That was last week down in Center Point to discuss installing a no parking sign on Skyline Drive 30 feet back from the FM 480 intersection. So we'll look into that. That'll have to come to the court. We'll need a public hearing and of course the court's approval. We also will have a meeting with TxDOT in Center Point on the 10th to discuss other road safety concerns and the possibility of installing a crosswalk and better lighting, etc. And folks, that's a function of Center Point is alive and well. It's thriving. We've got a lot of new businesses, restaurants, and so forth. But the problem is lack of parking, and it gets real congested. So we need to try to do something to make it a little bit safer for people that are trying to give business to the folks that are there operating in Center Point. So that'll be an important meeting to see what TxDOT can do to help us. And the last thing I'll mention is Woodman Life is the company that is donating playground equipment to Flat Rock Park to replace what was lost in the flood. And the good news is that equipment has arrived. So it's now up to our maintenance group to get it installed, and the plan is to have a ribbon cutting ceremony on March 16th. And I'm sure it will be ready to go long before then. But moving ahead, that's all I got.
Very good. 3.
Burn ban does remain lifted in Precinct 3 as well. Thank you all for those that are cooperating with all that. Freeze effects, kind of a little bit of a roll up for our precinct, just so you're tracking. For those that have a lot of cattle, it's kind of hard. One neighbor lost 6 kids, young goats. We lost a horse.
No, that scared me for a
I'm glad you
minute.
clarified.
Sorry,
all of us take a deep breath.
goats. That's why I say
Yeah.
goats. But yeah, we lost one of our old horses, unfortunately, too. But it was mostly just because mud, right? And so when the freeze thaws, the mud comes, and it gets a little rough on animals, and they seem to be pinned up, which is hard. But we also fought a fire out in Comfort, part of the Center Point VFD, And it was about electrical, so it's something to think about. The reason I want to bring this up for all of us is be mindful about your space heaters, your extra plug-ins, which are not directly into the wall, right? That are daisy chaining cords or putting up other space heaters. I know what, you're trying to keep things warm in garages, but when there's additional flammables that are around, take another hard look at that, and as well as your pipes that are frozen. Because when you're having to pour water from your creek into your toilet, because your pipes freeze, are probably not alone in that, right? But take another hard look about what you had and what froze and what you could do to prepare for the future, because it'll keep coming, it'll keep getting cold. And just whatever you can do to, lessen the impact is good. March 20th, 1 p.m. March 20th, 1 p.m., ribbon cutting for the new animal shelter. I'll cover it again in our liaison comments, but we're pretty excited as we plan to move out for that. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit with Jonathan Letts. Big day for our big investment in Kerr County. And then there is some news about Hill Country Energy, SRPC, and Comfort, but I'm going to let you cover that because I think
That's on the
you
agenda,
want
so we'll
to.
come
It's
back.
on the agenda, I'll cover it.
I thought so. I'm going to let that sit.
And I'm gonna enjoy that.
A little foreshadowing for everybody. Thank you. That's it.
All right, I don't have a whole lot. I'm gonna parrot what Commissioner Jones said about our sheriff's department preparing and being ready for the winter storm and what have you, as well as our maintenance department. Did an excellent job preparing ahead of time, and that's key. So that's all I got.
Okay, very well. Then we'll move on to the consideration agenda. We have a timed item at 9 o'clock, which is item 1.1. Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action on a request from the Gary Sinise Foundation to use Flat Rock Park on April the 18th, 2026, all day for a benefit concert set up on April 17th. Mr. McCourse? And Mr. McCourse, I want to apologize about our rule here for no hats in the courtroom. But for those of you with military service, know that no covers are permitted inside unless you're under arm. So with that, we honor the tradition.
Thanks,
Thank
sir. As stated, I'm George McHorse. I'm the adjutant at Kerrville Memorial Post 208. We support 100% the Gary Sinise Foundation request. He's done a lot for the veterans in this area. He's done a lot for first responders, and he's wanted to continue. As he stated in that quick brief, he's wanting to use the Flat Rock Park to host a concert. He's wanting to have, if we get approved for it, on the 17th of April, they're gonna come in and set up their bandstand. They do all the work. On the 18th, they will do approximately 3-hour concert. We'll be supporting them on areas where they need to change clothes for concert regalia or whatever. They'll be using the post for that. And then on the following day, that evening and following day, they will have people come in to take that equipment and leave, and they say they'll leave the park as they found it. And we will support them on that and be behind them. Sinise Foundation has done a lot, like I say, over the years. They've supported our post during the flood. They knew we had concerns, need equipment. We'd have Lowe's or Home Depot call us and say, we've got some equipment here, somebody wanna come pick it up? And we would hold them in our Connex so people could sign it out and use it in a recovery type situation. So they donated quite liberally to us to help us out in that endeavor. Also, the foundation for the last 7 years or so has supported the Veterans Administration Medical Center. They know the veterans there get the meals from staff and such, but they have been giving them grants totaling over the last 7 years about $36,000. And what it is each month they do one luncheon, they provide the meal, or they pay for the cost of the meal coming in. They give the veterans there a better taste of home, or whatever, in their endeavors to try to get them something other than institutional food. Of course, the dietitians aren't always happy with that, but the veterans enjoy it. So what we're doing, again, the Lieutenant Dan Band will be there, and he'll be doing some presentation there. If we get your approval, we need to know the size of the crowd that can be permitted on that. We'll coordinate on security, whatever needs to be done in that regards, but we'll help them in any way we can with their setup, cleanup, and make sure the park is returned. And Gary Sinise Foundation is proud to provide the first responder appreciation event with an in-kind cost of up to $180,000 to show our support to the Kerrville community. As our founder, Gary Sinise, frequently reminds us, while we can never do enough to show gratitude to our nation's defenders, veterans, first responders, and the families that will serve alongside them, we can always do a little more. We would be honored to bring this event to the city and show firsthand how we embody our mission of service. That's signed by the Gary Sinise Foundation. And we request y'all's consideration of this, allow us to be able to use the park, and as stated, we'll give it back in the same condition we got it.
I'll
Thank
make
you
a
very much,
motion.
sir.
I'll make a motion that the court approve the use of Flat Rock Park by the Gary Sinise Foundation for setup on April 17th and a benefit concert on April 18th.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
You know, one thing I want to point out is, it looks like they say it'll be over no later than 5 o'clock, and that's, for a concert down there in Flat Rock, that's good.
That's early, yeah.
Because that music carries across the water, and
Yeah, I know.
sometimes we've had complaints in the past, so if it goes into the evening, so hats off to you.
Just for context, having met the guy a few times, he usually comes to these things in person. I don't know that he's gonna do that for this one. Can't speak for him, but he is a wonderful American who lives by the example of like getting people together, providing homes for people that have been killed, they don't have that, or homes that are modified for people that need it, that have disabilities, and also a lot of equipment. It's just, it's amazing. You see what he can do, and I'm so glad that our community can share with this. So, thank you.
The only thing I would add is there was no mention of the Lieutenant Dan Band.
No, he mentioned
No,
the
no.
band. He did.
Yeah, okay.
He did mention it.
He would be here with his Lieutenant Dan Band.
Well, that's important. That is very important. I want to reiterate the Lieutenant Dan Band.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Okay. Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Next timed item is item 1.2. Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to request from Kerrville Masonic Lodge number 697 to use the courthouse grounds on May the 2nd, 2026, from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. for their annual car show. And tell me again how you say your last name?
Steele.
Oh, well, I had some.
You have Rodney
Go ahead.
Racimus on there. Unfortunately, he can't be with us this morning, so.
Okay, good.
He sent
Welcome.
me instead.
Yes.
Sorry about that. My name's Billy Steele. I represent the Kerrville Masonic Lodge, number 697. We come before you again this morning, Judge, to request permission to use your courthouse grounds here for our annual Masonic car show that we do. This will be our 4th annual. We use these funds for scholarships for all of our schools here locally. It's just a fun day, fun thing to do. It'll be May 2nd. Normally we have it in March or April, but we didn't want to compete with all the other stuff going on here. So we decided to move it to May. Again, this is to support, you know, the local charities and mainly scholarships. Start about 7 a.m. and wrap up about 4. Again, we try to leave the grounds as good, if not better, condition than we found it in.
I'll make a motion to approve the request by the Masonic Lodge for May 2nd for their annual car show.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. I want to make sure that our VFD two have a chance to take a look at their pages.
It's the alert from the fire department. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
We're gonna
That's the only
ignore
one
it.
that comes through.
Well, don't ignore it. Just respond to it
Just
appropriately.
I don't need to be the,
Any other discussion with regard to the Masonic Lodge request for the car show here on May the 2nd, which is a long tradition here? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Thank you, Billy.
Thank you, Judge.
The next timed item is a 9:05 timed item. It's 1.3, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action regarding the 2025 Kerr County Historical Commission report and introduce new members. Now, I looked for Miss Oates and I didn't see her.
No, sir.
Okay, when she comes, we'll stop and take her at that time. So with that, the item, that timed item at 9:10 is passed, and you look down there at your agenda, you'll see that that was last week. We postponed this over from last week, so it became moot. Now we move on to the regular agenda, item 1.5. Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action regarding various issues with record service in Kerr County. Jacob, is it Shively? Okay.
My name is Jacob Shively. I owned a tow truck company here for approximately 20 years. And my issue is I got a vehicle that was mine that was impounded, and I got a notice from one of the record services. And I thought we were all on the same page on our rotations, because our rotations should be based on the same price. You shouldn't just get one record service with one price, and then another record service can charge another price. Currently, the rotation charges are not a set amount. I thought they were when I left my record service. They range anywhere from $195 for the rotation call to $500, depending on the company you get during a rotation call. So that's one of my issues. My vehicle got impounded, one of my vehicles got impounded, and to tow it 13 miles was $1,300. And that's just the towing. So, the other thing that I have is on that bill was you charge mileage, okay? So, in the record business, you charge either like $2 or $3 a mile en route, and then $4 or $5 a mile back loaded, right? Well, normally you don't charge a fuel surcharge. And if you do charge a fuel surcharge, you cannot charge more than 100% of the actual fuel used. In this call that went out for towing my vehicle 13 miles, there was a $330 fuel surcharge from this tow company. I just think that you either need to be charged mileage or a fuel surcharge. And it's hard to charge a fuel surcharge. That's why I never charged a fuel surcharge, because you would actually have to fill your truck up before you left, and then after the call, fill it back up to know the exact fuel used. And there's a calculation that like truckers use for a fuel surcharge. I'm just going over some of my talking points. I'm kind of nervous about doing this. And my other one is TDLR does not regulate rotations, okay? They're not gonna come into, that's who regulates tow companies. They're not gonna come into a county or municipality and say what the charges are in there. The only thing that they regulate is private property towaways, okay? And currently, a vehicle under 10,000 pounds, if it gets towed away from a parking lot, is, well, when I was there, it was $250 for under 10,000 pounds. 10,001 pound and above is $350. So they're not gonna come in and regulate the county or municipalities or PD's rates. They're just not gonna do that. So that has to be set up by the county, sheriff department, PD. It used to be set up before, when I started rotations in 2005, it was, DPS regulated us, okay? It was taken over by TDLR in 2008. So that's one of my other deals is that. And then none of the tow truck companies here are holding public auctions. They're required to hold public auctions to be transparent on the vehicles that are sold at these public auctions. So one of my things is that they can be auctioned off at 52 days, okay? And they can only be auctioned off at the amount of the tow bill and storage at that time. So if someone's vehicle gets impounded, and let's say that they're not holding public auction, so we can't see how much they're auctioned off for. So say the vehicle's a $20,000 vehicle and it gets auctioned off for $20,000, but they can only keep the amount of the storage and tow bill. The rest of the money has to be returned to the owner, but they're not holding public auction, so we can't see that. So they're setting the cars out front for sale, they're setting all that, you know, and they're not. But what we need to do is somehow, I don't know, that's why I'm coming here with the county commissioners, because they need to, each impound lot is in a different county commissioner's precinct. But one of the things that they can do there too is they're exempt from the appraised value of a vehicle. Some of these record services could, I'm not saying they are, could be taking that vehicle, auctioning it off for $10,000, right? Really good deal on a $20,000 vehicle, right? But they're exempt from the appraised value. So this affects Bob Reeves over here, because what could happen is, since they're exempt, they can go in there and they can say, hey, I'll save you money. We'll say on paper that we auction off for $1,500. What happens to that rest of that cash? So that's just one of my things. I have a folder for each one of you guys. Y'all can look at it if you have any questions about it. My suggestion for the transparency on the auctioned off cars, it would stop. It would be able, so you can see what the vehicles are actually auctioned off for, so the money would be returned to the citizens of Kerrville once they get impounded. So that's just about all that I have to say about it. Just the two issues of the rotation needs to be set at a certain price. I think that I have it in my folder. My record service actually went through my rate sheet with Hill Country Record Service. It was the only rate sheet that went through the city manager about 8 years ago, got approved. And let me see what it is. I think it's $250 for the rotation for 10,001 pound and below. That's the initial call out, plus mileage. And then 10,001 pound and above was $350. That's the set rate for private property tows. And that rate sheet actually went through. But these other tow companies are higher than that, some of them. And I just think it needs to be addressed.
I'd like to get the sheriff to speak on this.
Sure.
Okay, Mr. Shifley, first of all, we do not have anything that controls the prices. It has not been like that under my administration for the last 6 years. So the court knows the sheriff's office does oversee the rotation record system of non-consent tows. So let me break it down. What you have is here. You have consent tows and non-consent tows. A consent tow, somebody breaks down, somebody's in an accident, they say, I want record ABC. They get that. There's nobody can control that price, not even TDLR. Okay, on a non-consent tow, which would be an arrest, an accident where the vehicle's there, they call for a rotation record. We do have a rotation record system for regular records, also large records for like 18-wheelers. Those prices can be controlled. This is not the first time I deal with it all the time. His was observed. That's a horrible price, I'll tell you right now. That's crazy. So the options on that are, the closest county that has that is Comal County, and I know it was a nightmare, but they got it done. It's basically the sheriff working the commissioner's court with the county attorney. That is an option. It's an ongoing deal, controlling those prices. I have thought a lot. I spend a lot of time. This comes up all the time. Maybe pulling them into my office, every one of them, if they want to be on the rotation, I'll take them off, is to come over there. And we try to work it out and agree maybe verbally on something, but then I don't ever like those deals when I can't do something about it. But I'd be willing to do that, and say, hey, this is the deal. I could take them off the rotation, but if not, then the option is coming to the court. But just so everybody knows publicly, the court would have to control that price. It'd probably be an ongoing changes, as you know. It's just like everything else we deal with. And I'm sorry on the fuel charges. I don't know. That's been a huge headache. I don't agree with that. I can tell you right now, that is wrong to charge. I feel you're getting charged double for that. But I'll be happy to answer any questions. That's kind of it in a nutshell.
It sounds like we need to do something to control price gouging.
I agree. I'll visit with the county attorney. I'd be willing, the initial meeting, I would be willing to try to get them in two there, I couldn't force them, you know, but I do oversee it, who's on it and who's not. And, you know, we can try, I'd be willing to try that and see, but, you know, at the end of the day, if they charge something different, it's really, you know, I don't got no bite to where, you know, y'all set the price, et cetera, I definitely take them off.
Sheriff, I think that'd be a great first start, is to have a meeting and call them all into the same room and, you know, talk to them about
sure.
it.
Sure,
And,
I'll
you know,
update the court on that, but.
One option is that the court comes up with some kind of regulation for it. The other option is that they agree to do something, maybe they sign it, I don't know. Obviously, we need to involve the county attorney here.
Oh, definitely, yeah,
But,
and
I mean,
sorry for that, I hadn't had a chance to
as a
visit with you,
volunteer
but-
firefighter, you know, the last thing we want to do is discourage them from showing up on an accident scene and getting those vehicles that have been, you know, no longer serviceable. We need to get them out of there and clear the scene. So we
But-
just have to be a little careful that we're not, you know, shooting ourselves in the foot to where some of them won't respond because they think somehow the pricing isn't fair.
Sure, we'd have
But
some there.
as long as it's fair, you know, let's see what we can do.
Yeah, the prices have really gotten,
Yeah,
I get
that
complaints
sounds
all the
ridiculous,
time.
what we just learned, so.
I'll work on that, update the court, visit with the county attorney, and, you know, try to get an initial meeting, see what we can do.
And I might offer a comment. I think this is a problem that's common to local governments, both the county and the city. And I would encourage that we include some kind of discussion with the city to kind of see what they're doing, to make sure that we have some sort of uniform approach to this. And what I don't understand is, do we need to have a meeting with the providers of the service first, or do we need to talk among ourselves first as to what we would like to put together before we call them in? I don't know.
I would think, trying to get them all together and create something that they're all agreeable with, that's more fair, would be the first start. Then
I think so, too.
any other meetings after that would probably be mute if they do it on their own.
And if I could just ask, sir, for Mr. Shively, I didn't know where you were headed with all this, but thank you for bringing it up. For your individual circumstance with the civil action, have you approached the Justice of the Peace yet?
Yes, sir, I have.
Have you filed with them?
Yes, sir, I have.
Okay, good.
Yes, and that's been taken care of. Just so, you know, the sheriff, what he was saying, we sat down when DPS ran us, and this is the last time that all the record services got brought in, was around 2005, and we agreed on a price. Okay? So DPS actually, when they regulated us, not TDLR, brought us all in over there. The sergeant brought us in, and we agreed on our prices. And at that time, we were running calls at $75 for rotations, and then we agreed at a price of $150. So, and then, like I said, my regulation sheet actually went through the city manager at the $250 and $350.
And most of this would be something you'd bring up in front of the Justice of the Peace, just for the public to understand. There is recourse available at a certain dollar threshold and below, and that's kind of like what you would present your case. They would present their case, and the Justice of the Peace hopefully makes a fair finding for you.
Yeah,
That's where the power
yeah, I'm not
resides
trying
in
to
this.
be here for my case. I'm just trying to be here for the differences of
No.
the pricing difference where it needs to be. If you're on rotation and you're on a rotation, just because someone's higher, you get that person. It all needs to be uniform, regulated. You're the exact same price. You charge the exact same labor to be on rotation. It's just fair to the general public.
Your second topic, Mr. Shively, was about the public auctions. That should be something that jeopardizes their license.
Yes, it's actually regulated by TDLR that they're required to have public auctions in our county, but they're not. And TDLR is actually, sir, all y'all is spread real thin. It sounds like a huge deal, but they regulate from matchmakers to haircuts to plumbers to, they're just inundated.
Yeah.
So
But let the public know, who is TDLR?
TDLR is Texas Department of License and Regulation.
Sheriff? Okay. And they need to be part of this discussion.
I don't know if we can get them.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you, we don't have this problem with our bail bondsmen, because we do very carefully regulate that, or not, we have
I've
a
got a
policy
phone.
regarding that.
We have been in contact with them via phone.
Okay. So this is certainly a topic worth reporting back to the court so that we can see if we're making progress and where we need to go next.
Mr. Shively, can I ask real quickly, which precinct are you in?
I don't know if I'm in 1 or 2. I'm off of 249 Vine Street.
It's yours. I looked it up.
Is it? I'm just curious which JP you've talked to.
Okay, okay. So we're done?
Anything else? Any action to be taken?
I don't think so today.
Okay, so we'll look forward to a follow-up report on that. We move on to the next item on the agenda, which is item 1.6, consider discuss and take appropriate action on a change order from J.K. Bernhardt for the Kerr County Animal Control Facility. Former Commissioner Litz.
Good morning. Well, the good news is this is only change order number 5. Considering the size of the project, it's pretty remarkable that there's only been 4 previous ones. This one is an amount of $37,294.44. The reason for it, well, first of all, I'll say, originally this change order came in at right about $68,000. And through a number of meetings with J.K. Bernhardt, between Peter Lewis, myself, and the project manager, Daniel Mirabito, we went through it and it came down to the current amount of $37,000. The reason for it is it's no one's fault. It's not a planning fault. It's not a construction fault. It's just that when you actually build the building with the HVAC system, some things have to be moved. There were some beams that were in line with where the ductwork goes. Some of the ventilation system had to be adjusted slightly. So that's what the reasons are. I mean, there's not.
So it was engineering. It was engineers.
It was engineered right, and the drawings were fine. It was just a matter of when you go to actually put it in, you're going from a plan to reality, you have to make some adjustments. There's a number of other items listed on the change order that we're not being charged for, and legitimately we could. But Bernhardt is absorbing those costs. Notes that there's quite a few fire sprinkler revisions required by the city of Kerrville, Sallyport. Drywall ceilings were required in a couple of rooms that we didn't have them in there. They required that. There's a few things like that. The curbs for the exhaust fans came in round. I thought we wanted them square, so we had to make some adjustments there, but Bernhardt absorbed those. So Bernhardt absorbed quite a few of the costs on this. I think it's reasonable. Peter Lewis has signed off on this. I would recommend approval. I will say, where I recommend that the funds come from, I visited with the auditor about it. There are still funds under project contingencies. There's plenty of funds there, so it's not going to increase the overall project budget. It may decrease some things that we would like to get done, but we're still looking at that. At the next meeting, I've been meeting with Commissioner Holt and Reagan, and we're going to come through with some items that just need to be done. Like there's some fencing that wasn't included. There's some landscaping that has to get done. There's a few other things that just were never included. But there are funds for all that in the budget. And it looks like the completion date will be towards the end of this month when we get the certificate of occupancy.
So with this change order, what's the total cost of this project going to be?
I'd have to go to the auditor, but it's not an increase from what you've approved previously. It's the same amount that was approved a year ago. It's because it's split over 2 budget years. The reason I can't answer that right now, I don't remember the total that was spent last year, but it's the same amount that was approved by the court previously.
In the essence of transparency, we did talk about this morning, is the total cost run up. We intend to provide that at the next Commissioners Court and have it break down. It'll take a little bit, including change orders and things like that, and the furniture and what we're looking at. It's fair to ask. Sir, did you talk about the cost already? Did I miss that?
Yes, I mean, this is the various amounts it's all HVAC issues. It's adjustments that were made and some ventilation issues. A couple of the ventilation issues are kind of improving the ventilation system that was added. I mean, it was felt by J.K. Bernhardt and Peter Lewis that it would be better for the ventilation, make it work more efficiently once you get the construction in. But these amounts, like I say, they're not related to a design problem or a construction problem. It's just a matter of when you start putting the vents and the duct work in to make it all work right, some adjustments had to be made. And that's what this is for. They're all HVAC adjustments.
Well, you're very familiar with how this process works. What action are you asking us to take today?
To approve change order 5 and that the funds would come from project contingencies.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve this change order, 5, and from our project contingency funds.
Okay, we've got a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? It's been a long, winding road to get here, and a painful road at times, but hopefully worthwhile.
It's, I tell you, the facility is impressive. It's very nice. It's gonna serve the community very well for certainly the next 20 years at least, I'd say. And J.K. Bernhardt's been a pleasure to work with. My original scope was a little bit more focused, and due to the things that have happened during the year, I've kind of become a project manager, even though it wasn't my scope of work, but working with that, trying to get it done. Done a lot of construction meetings, and kind of Daniel calls me when there's a question.
And I'm grateful, honestly, during the whole flood, you picked up a lot of the slack, but also never stopped being involved in all this, so it's helpful, very helpful. And I know you negotiated a lot on this current change order to get it down to a more reasonable price, so thanks.
So we've got a motion and a second to approve change order number 5, which will come out of contingency funds in the budget. Any other discussion
Just to make it clear, it's contingency funds for this project,
for this project
Yeah.
in the budget?
not out of your other contingencies. It's specific for this
Yeah, the
project.
funds were already approved for this
It's
project.
already been approved.
Any other discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. And just to remind the public, the opening will be March the 20th at 1 p.m., the Animal Services Facility. We look forward to seeing everyone there. Moving on to item number 1.7, which is to consider, discuss, take appropriate action regarding the FY 24-25 audited financial statements for the operating segment of the Hill Country Youth Events Center managed by Global Spectrum LP. And Jake, we got you up here for a few, so
I gotta run, don't I?
stay there.
So,
This is
good morning,
1.7.
and thank you for taking the time today. Before you, we have submitted the finalized audit from last fiscal year. This is the auditor's opinion, you'll see before you, and so just seeing if, in review, you have any questions of their responses.
I'll make a motion that we approve the fiscal year 24-25 audited financial statements for the operating segment.
I think all we have to do is accept. Don't we just accept that?
I don't know, you tell me.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
an audit,
I'll
we
amend
just
my-
accept it.
I'll amend my
Yes,
motion.
we accept
We're not
it.
second guessing the audit, we're just accepting it.
Well, nobody else is.
I'm looking at my auditor back there, she's nodding her head.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we accept the fiscal year 24-25 audited financial statements for the operating segment of the Hill Country Youth Events Center, managed by Global Spectrum LP.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion? This is to accept the audit as presented. Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Don't go away. 1.8, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to approve the corporate qualitative incentive per contract for FY 24-25 with OVG for the Hill Country Youth Event Center. Jake?
Again, this is per every annual contract after the audit has been submitted and approved and accepted. Part of the financials for the event center is to give a report card back to my corporate office for, how we're doing down here, how we're faring. Per the contract, that's maximum incentive of $15,000 divided into 5 categories. That list should be before you. We always go over this, and it's the court's decision to award those incentives to corporate for managing the facility from last year.
Yes, Jake and I sit down each year and go over this, and this has been an unusual year out there, and he's done a fantastic job, rated everything, and I asked him to do a self-evaluation, and then I did one on top of that, and we came up, out of that 15,000 possible, we came up with 12.5 is what
12,500.
is my recommendation. So I move that we approve 12,005, which is already budgeted.
Correct.
Second.
And that's a motion and a second as presented.
Yes.
Any discussion?
Yeah,
just,
you've done a heck of a job.
Appreciate it.
This year has been the most trying year you could probably ever see in the history of that center. The way you've tried to shuffle around events and still try to hang on to our customer base in the midst of all of this has been just remarkable. So thank you very much for all your hard work, and your team.
Yes.
They went through a very trying time. You guys were up there as many hours as we were during all this, and probably did not have to be.
And he's been shorthanded much of that time,
Yeah.
so.
And I'll say, I mean, you know, I dug hard into your finances and budgets because I want to make sure you broke even way before the flood. You know, that we can attract more business and be in the black. We have been this year because of the rentals. But the way you handled yourself, and I'll second that, I saw a lot of stress in that center. It was hard not to absorb stress from the press, from the event, from the families. You were one of the few people that I saw that just made it happen. And I've seen a lot of stress in my life, you know, and a lot of things like that. And it's not unfamiliar to see that somebody can handle something with grace comes from a strong place of strength. And we didn't run out of toilet paper, you know? And that's no small feat when you consider that many people in that place and the bathrooms are never terrible. So just a small line, a little graphic, but it shows how well you worked. And I wanted to echo what he's saying.
You know,
Impressive.
when everybody just came in on top of us July 4th, and it was like a beehive out there. Speaking of the toilet paper, I recruited my wife to come up there and help keep the
That's right.
women's restrooms clean and stuff that weekend, until we could get coordinated and have somebody from maintenance come out there. So it was, Jake, as well as everybody else, you just play the hand you're dealt. You don't know what's coming, but you played it.
Right.
And you did it well. Thank you.
Appreciate it. I have a strong support team with that, including even Shane's staff as well, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll echo those comments, Jake. Thank you very much. I guess it's not really the agenda item, but I understand that Tatum is moving out, so maybe you can just inform the public, because you're about to get back to normal, right?
Correct. For transparency, right? The operation is not over. However, the occupation of the event center is wound down. Yeah, so you'll see less first responders, actually less, zero, first responders out there starting today. So you will still see them continuing the operation elsewhere.
now remind me, who made the motion?
I did.
And this is on
Yeah.
the. we've already-
Incentive,
Is there an
Harris made a
incentive?
motion, Holt
Yes.
seconded, we're ready
Okay,
to
this is
vote.
the incentive as presented.
yes.
1-8.
Okay. Any other discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Thank you, Jeff. Jake.
Heather was hoping there was no more discussion.
Yeah, off topic.
Okay, well, that's why I wanted to get centered back to what the motion was. The next item is 1.9, consider, discuss, take appropriate action to accept the Hill Country Youth Event Center Annual Report for FY 24-25. Jake?
Sure. As we've already discussed, it was a unique year for the event center. That brought up a lot of unique opportunities that we got through. We were operating quite well for the fiscal year up until July 4th, and we shifted gears, and it changed the dynamic out there. But as Tatum was a paying customer, the financials, of course, had been positively affected from that. In addition to supporting the flood recovery efforts and the first responders, we did officially launch not last October, 2 Octobers ago, the Pepsi partnership. And so that went into full swing last fiscal year, as well as we migrated our accounting system to a new, easier to use suite of programs. As the financials that we report to y'all, you've seen the change in those. And so those are additional things that happened last year. But of course, the main focus ended up being the flood. Other great things that happened last year was, in no short part due to Commissioner Pace's efforts, the roof of the indoor arena was replaced. And so we have started, phase 1 of the renovation of the indoor arena. That was a great addition, as we discovered over the summer with the new insulation, new roof, no skylights. That building already is more hospitable in the summer. So as we continue those renovations, as we can find the funds, it will become a functional building once more. So
Let's not forget that dirt.
the dirt's still there.
It's still gotta go.
It's still there. So, other things we like to talk about in the annual report is just client base. You know, we did lose a few folks due to the flood. They had to find alternative venues. We're working to get them back. But prior to that, you know, we did welcome a new circus, the Zope Circus, they were in the field in the tent last fiscal year. So I know a lot of people saw them and enjoyed that, which was new. We kept a lot of our revolving clients, if you will. You know, a lot of all the stock shows that people frequent. We had Moto Extreme Circus again to come with their high-flying motorcycle act. The San Antonio Kennel Club is a staple as well. You know, so we're always trying to fill in those last couple holes in the schedule with new content that everybody can enjoy. And so if the public ever has input or if they've seen something elsewhere they'd like us to bring, let us know. I have a phone. We call people all the time trying to get them to come to town. As a rental facility, we have to work with that so they can rent the place instead of us paying for them to come to town. But we've done a lot of things with a lot of nonprofits to make that work. So outstanding things there. Of course, our event total took a hit last year. Typically, we report around 420 event days a year. This year, we reported 283, mainly because Tatum, even though it's 87 days, is one event. So that's a big portion of that, but it just shows how many 4-H groups, the sheriff's office, how much they use those classrooms and how much we weren't able to for the end part of last fiscal year. But you'll see before you, we ended up with a great surplus. We made budget by the largest margin in the event center's history. So there are surplus funds that we have been working with Commissioner Harris, auditor, to strategically work on spending those, whether it be on future improvements that we've been working on, maintenance projects we know that are coming up now that Tatum is leaving. We know there's a lot of painting and things that need to be done. So we're gonna be working with those funds to get them spent strategically on the building, so that it remains operational. If there are excess funds, we're in those phases right now to figure that out, to help continue renovation of the indoor arena or whatever they might be. So the public knows that that money will go back to the event center unless the court wishes to zero out the account to use it elsewhere with the county. It's still gonna go to the taxpayer.
Jake, I get people ask me all the time, or I think there's some false rumors out there that think all this, this income we got from Tatum is going into y'all's pockets, your management group. It doesn't go anywhere, it's right here.
Correct, and I see where the public can assume that if they don't know, because Global Spectrum's a line item on your all's budget. We have a separate bank account. It's still Kerr County's assets. We manage those assets for Kerr County. It is not Global Spectrum's assets at all.
You get a straight, flat management fee each year,
No,
And the money just goes into different buckets.
it's buckets.
but it's our bucket.
Our bucket.
It's your bucket.
Our
It's
buckets.
a taxpayer bucket. Absolutely.
And another quick topic, Jake, I get calls from people saying, well, this was built for the kids and they get bumped in the schedule all the time. I think it's a good time to go ahead and publicly talk about the fact that they send you a schedule at the beginning of every school year, correct?
Not only that, we plan typically 2 to 3 years out for the big 4-H events, to make sure that they are on the calendar and get the dates they want.
Right.
And then from there, we fill in the schedule. So when you hear things about getting bumped, it's probably last minute meetings that 4-H comes up with, or they have a scheduling conflict with their meeting space. And we have something else going on. So,
I've seen your calendar. They have regular weekly meetings, correct?
correct, yes. And the other groups, we have them on the calendar. They are there. We do not bump them for those reasons. we might strategically work with an event to move it from a Friday to a Thursday to better accommodate weekend events, but they're given first right of refusal on all things.
Okay.
And speaking of that, thank you for the tour a few months ago on the outdoor arena and the concern with the 4-H Equine Club, which I heard them out. And for the future, a different type of soil, which we talked about, laying down every time you get a chance, maybe with additional budget, a more loam-based, clay-based soil to make it more inviting. And thanks for having them get all the rocks out of the arena. That was nice they did that.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah, appreciate it.
Commissioner Holt, just so you're aware, the judge has already referred to the dirt in the ag barn. The idea, if we ever get around to the improvements, if we ever have funding to finish that, the idea was to take all that dirt and put it on the outdoor arena,
Yeah.
because it's far more suitable for equestrian events, and Mother Nature will take care of anything that's in the soil in terms of bacteria or whatever.
Sun
So
take
that
care
was
of
the
that.
idea.
Yeah, they're pretty convinced that the indoor
Saves us a
soil
bunch of
can
money.
be
We don't have
broken
to
up.
buy
course.
soil.
Brought out.
Exactly.
So, we're waiting for it. Thanks for the good lead-in.
Yeah, that's good.
All right.
It's all working in progress, right? So, further on, you know, I'm data-driven type guy. I want to know what my customers are doing and how to better service them. So later on in the packet, you will see some Placer AI data. That's the cell phone data that we have access to, and it shows a great map of where people come and go. Depends on how you think about personal privacy and all those things, but, you know, we can tell you that 12.8% of the people that came to the event center came directly from a hotel last fiscal year. I bring that up because I know we're still working on hot tax, and I think that's a great talking point to show that we do put heads in beds at the event center. The county, the taxpayers should get some of those benefits. After the 12.8% people that come directly from a hotel, 11.2 go to a hotel after the event. So it's either a 2-day stay, or they're coming to an event and they stay overnight. So those overnight stays do happen. So that is a big part of it. 30% of the folks that come to the event center come from home, and then 30% return to home. That means we're drawing from other places as well, instead of just the locals. And so that's a very important data point that I like to point out as you look through that annual report as well. So, and you will see that in July, we did have we had about 32,000 people visit the event center, which is of course, our new record.
And Jake, since you brought up the hotel occupancy tax,
It's not on the agenda.
Part of the annual report.
I'm sorry to have to jump in there. I appreciate the information. I appreciate the
so I
interest,
can't-
but we just need to approve the annual report at item 1.9.
I'll make a motion, we accept the annual report from fiscal year 24 to 25.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the annual report as presented. Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous.
Are you through, Jake?
No,
One more.
but wait, there's more.
Okay.
Item 1.10, consider, discuss, or take appropriate action to request permission for the Texas Elite Showcase to use Flat Rock Park for trailer parking for their event February 11, 2026 to February 15, 2026. The request is to use the open space in the middle of the main park, not the dog park area. Jake?
Thanks. Again, we have a large swine show coming up here in a couple weeks. They have enough trailers and enough attendance that we cannot fit all that equipment and trailers and folks on the grounds, which is a great problem to have. The county happens to have Flat Rock Park directly below our facility, and in years past, we've used it to park trailers. I'm here to ask permission to park trailers for a few days, again, in Flat Rock Park for the Texas Elite Showcase.
Yes, and I move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve using Flat Rock Park as park trailers for the upcoming Texas Elite Showcase event at Youth Event Center as presented. Any discussion?
I will say, this is one event that gets a lot of extra hotel space. I mean, this group's here for a couple of days. That's why they want to store their trailers down there, so it goes way up for hotel occupancy.
Yes.
my only question, Jake, Okay, if we're gonna use the center of the park, you know, if we had a heavy rain or something right before the event, it could do some pretty nasty damage. Do we have a plan B or anything that we might do if that event occurs?
If there was a weather event that occurred that damaged the ground or made the ground unusable, we would try to reposition as many as we could up top, which would mean I could open up flat Riverstar Park for overflow truck traffic in a way. Trailers don't fit over there, but we could house as much as we could. I could ask the baseball fields if I could use their grounds as well and for a contingency for parking cars.
Well, even that area that Tatum has used out there where they were landing all the Black Hawk helicopters, I'd much rather seen that torn up than Flat Rock Park. That's all I'm saying, you know. Think about it, have a plan B.
It's noted.
Flat Rock Park has come a long way in terms of getting it back to usefulness and its condition prior to the flood, so let's not tear it up.
No.
Okay, we've got a
Noted.
motion and a second. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Thank you, Jake.
Thank you, Court.
That's the most time you spent at the podium, I think, ever.
Might be. New league record.
Quickly, let's move on to item 1.11. Consider discussion, take appropriate action to accept donations to the Kerr County Animal Control totaling $15 for the month of November 2025. Mr. Gibbons.
Good morning, just trying to get caught up on our donations. This was for November. We did not have any in December.
I'm looking at that haircut.
Yes, sir, growing it a little bit.
Yeah,
Just not on the too.
it's not on the agenda.
No, sir.
I move for approval.
Got a motion and a second to approve accepting the donation as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. And item 1.12, consider, discuss, take appropriate action to approve the interlocal agreement between Kerr County and Menard County and Real County for jail services for the county sheriff and allow the judge to sign same. Sheriff.
Yeah, just looking for Commissioners Court approval for Menard County and Real County. We're adjusting their prices to the new jail rate of $100 a day.
I move for approval.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the contract, jail contracts with Menard and Real County as presented. Any discussion?
Just one question for you, Sheriff. How many different counties do we have agreements with? I'm just curious.
I don't know the total off my head. I
We've
try to
heard
get
a
as
bunch
many as
of
I
these.
can.
At least
Yeah,
8 or
doesn't
10.
hurt.
I'm all for it, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm guessing we've got at least 8 or 10, maybe.
Oh, yeah,
dozen.
at least, but I've got a lot out. Some of them didn't like the new rate. And, you know, we got some, picked up some, but with Bear County, we're good, just with them.
Yes, sir.
We're staying full, so that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely, good job.
As
Thank you.
full as he wants.
Yeah.
We sign that bill every month.
Yeah, Judge knows what it is.
Good.
Thank you.
Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Let's take a 10-minute break and be back here at 10 minutes after 10. Back to order. Next item on the agenda is item 1.13, consider, discuss, take appropriate action with Commissioners Court final approval regarding 5 new road names for a new development called Mountain Legacy Ranch in Precinct 4. Ms. Hoffer.
The Kerr 911 office sent over 5 new road naming applications for the new development called Mountain Home Legacy Ranch in Precinct 4. This new development is off of Highway 83 in the mid-far western part of Kerr County. The road names are as follows: Hoffman Road Northwest, Doe Run Drive Northwest, Lockhart Street Northwest, Helene Lane Northwest, and Chesterfield Drive Northwest. These 5 roads are to be private roads, and Kerr County will not be maintaining any of the 5 roads. The county engineer has written an approval letter certifying that the applicant has satisfied any and all rules, regulations, and requirements overseen by the Kerr County Engineering Department related to said application, i.e. flood damage prevention, court order, driveway permitting, and the Kerr County subdivision regulations. At this time, I ask the Commissioners Court for their final approval to accept the 5 new roads names listed in the new development named Mountain Legacy Ranch Road in Precinct 4.
I move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a
So-
second to approve the 5 names.
So Kelly, this is the results of that new legislation a year ago
Yes, sir.
for the 10 acres, where
Yes,
they no
sir.
longer have to come before this court for
Yes.
the plating process.
Yep. And the roads need to be named as people, like I think some people have tried to bring manufactured homes into there, and the company for the manufactured homes have to have an address in order to deliver it, or they will not bring the home
Right.
out there. So, that's kind of the reason right now for the push on getting these roads named.
Well, I couldn't help but notice Chesterfield. No Lucky Strikes?
I didn't even think of that.
You're aging
Those
yourself.
are the old brands, the
I
old
do
brands.
remember
I
those.
had great uncles that smoked Chesterfield. And probably died from it.
So can I ask this question, Kelly? Have you been out there and looked at these roads?
I have, it's been a while. Charlie, Bobby, and I
I mean,
drove out there.
What
We had
kind of
found
roads
out a
are
new-
they? Are they just graded dirt? Or
Yeah,
are they-
there's no all-weather surface on them. I don't think,
So obviously they're
at
not
this
to our
time, they're thinking about doing
subdivision
a
standards.
chip seal or anything, but, yeah, there is no, all-weather surface on it. So if you get a rain, you
Well,
probably
that's
are
the
gonna have
danger with
some
that type of
issues.
legislation, because
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
get messed up, we can't get an ambulance in there,
Yes.
fire trucks in there,
Yeah,
it's bad.
yeah.
Buyer
And it's far
beware.
out. I mean, it is right, the entrance of it is pretty much the, county line on it, so
Right.
it's very far out.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Right.
You don't hear that often, but I'm not.
Thank you, Austin.
Yep.
We got a motion and a second to approve the 5 new road names. Have we voted?
No, sir.
Those in favor, raise your hand. Those opposed, abstain? I abstain.
Thank you.
Moving on to 1.14. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you, Judge.
Consider, discuss, update on matters related to the HCESRPC, the Hill Country Energy Subregional Planning Commission. Commissioner Paces.
Okay, well, a lot of news. Commissioner Holt started to, or at least alluded to, a key piece of information that I'm going to share. So in a January 27th letter to the Bernie Star, Catherine Chapman, who is the manager of community engagement with East Point Energy, spelled out the firm's decision to drop plans for constructing the planned 250 megawatt BESS facility on Flat Rock Creek. That's near the LCRA substation facility. Of course, she stated, due to shifting strategic priorities, East Point Energy's development on the Flat Rock Creek Energy Center will no longer be pursued at this time. So that's wonderful news. I think it's a tribute to, well, the community at Flat Rock Creek and those people that push back so strongly. You know, maybe our 391 Sub-Regional Planning Commission played a role as well in that, just shining a light of truth and bringing it out in the open. So it's taken a large concerted effort to push back, and at least this one's been successful. And the other news is that, let's see, East Point is just one of two firms that were seeking to build a battery energy storage system on that road. And the other one is Key Capture Energy. And it had planned its Ring Trail Ridge storage facility right on Flat Rock Creek as well. But they have said that that facility is on hold now. So, also good news. We'll see how that all plays out. There was some confusion that maybe East Point was somehow the developer associated with the Mountain Home East-West battery energy storage system. That's not true. The S-Volta is the company that's the developer for the Mountain Home battery energy storage, and as far as we know, they're still moving forward. It's still on the ERCOT website. We'll see. In other news, the temporary restraining order was upheld for the Harper Bess in Gillespie County. And of course, that situation is under litigation between several residents and Peregrine Energy, and the suit has also been enjoined by Gillespie County. Other really good news is that Governor Abbott just added Contemporary Amperex Technology Company Limited, their batteries, to the Texas list of prohibited technologies under the Lone Star Infrastructure Protection Act. So the acronym for Contemporary Amperex is CATTLE. If you have heard us talk about cattle batteries, and of course they're manufactured in China, and 90% of the batteries that are used in BESS facilities, lithium-ion batteries I'm talking about, are manufactured in China. So the governor adding those batteries to the list of prohibited technologies is great news. It's going to be a setback for most of these developers. Okay, otherwise, the Hill Country Energy Sub-Regional Planning Commission Board met on January 20th in the Gillespie County Courthouse. You might recall that we were considering meeting in the AgriLife building. Well, that didn't happen because Tatum called and backed out. We had hoped that Tatum was going to attend that meeting along with a number of the other state agencies, and that we would discuss cybersecurity concerns associated with battery energy storage. But it turns out they were unable to get any of the state agencies to agree to meet in a public forum with our sub-regional planning commission, and at best they seemed to be willing to pursue how we would respond should we have a thermal runaway fire, which is something we should work on. But the real idea here was to get on top of it before we get these things and make sure that the cybersecurity concerns are being addressed. And of course, this is particularly concerning when we now understand, it was reported in our board meeting, that over 700 attestations on critical electric grid equipment and/or critical electric grid services are missing. So in other words, the developers have not submitted these to ERCOT, and this is a requirement under the Lone Star Infrastructure Protection Act. So, you know, all I can say is they're moving ahead, they're connecting these things to the grid, and we're missing these attestations, and there's a serious concern that these facilities could allow someone with malintent to trigger a thermal runaway that could bring down our grid. Otherwise, Kendall County Commissioner Jennifer McCall will be attending the ERCOT board meeting on the 9th to express our concern regarding the missing attestations and the seeming lack of cybersecurity enforcement. We thought Tatum would play a role in that, and now it's kind of come to light that no, it's all falling back on ERCOT and Public Utilities Commission to enforce this stuff, but it's not being enforced. During our meeting, Representative Wes Verdell attended, and he spoke about his proposed House Bill 4817, which would establish new reliability requirements for electric generation facilities in the ERCOT power region. And, you know, it's a bit complex. I won't get into all the details, but let's just say that it could be helpful if that bill gets passed. It didn't make it through the last legislative session, so let's hope it does a little bit better this time. And also Representative Verdell raised concerns about the 765 kilovolt transmission lines that are coming through the hill country somewhere. We're not real clear on the final route yet. But these are, of course, so they say, to support unprecedented load growth in the Permian Basin region to meet current needs for reliable power and supporting continuing development and economic growth. So I guess it would be really nice if they would put some power generation facilities in the Permian Basin instead of trying to bring it from alternative sources through the hill country. But I think Representative Verdell will be at some point in time addressing the 3 different commissioners' courts and see if there's an appetite to expand the scope for the 391 Commission to include these high-power transmission lines. All right, the next meeting of the Hill Country Energy Subregional Planning Commission will be Thursday, March 5th at 1 o'clock in the Kerr County Courthouse. Not sure if it'll be here or most likely upstairs if there's one of the district courts available. And the last thing I'm going to report on is, again, the Office of the Attorney
Sorry,
General.
what was the date?
March the 5th.
March 5th, Thursday, March 5th, 1 p.m. And there'll be other meetings. I'll give further updates about exactly where. The last thing that I'll talk about is the Attorney General is investigating the use of these cattle batteries in the Van Zant Best facilities. You know, they have a temporary restraining order that prohibits even bringing those batteries into Van Zant County. And I guess the governor just kind of helped them out with his prohibition of cattle batteries. And that's also something of major concern, that if we have an expert that can review the report that was submitted by East West Best, Fajardo Fire Protection and Associates, it sure looks like they're planning to use a lot of Chinese components in that facility. So we'll rely on our expert to tell us, and then hopefully this court can take appropriate action. And that's all I've got on this item.
Let me give your commission something else to put on your radar.
Sure.
Have you heard of Pine Cove Strategies?
have
I
not.
got word Thursday.
Say it again?
Pine Cove, C-O-V-E, Strategies. This is a group that wants to put in an additional BESS at 479 and I-10, next to that substation.
Oh, yeah.
Now, copied in the email I got, I don't know if he owns it or it's just, he's part of the Pine Cove Strategies, George P. Bush. So, they haven't done anything. As of right now, there's not an application with us or CTEC from any of the BESS facilities, but they're out there.
Understood.
Is that the same locations at East West?
Yeah, 479 and 10.
Yeah, so they've changed companies.
I don't know that they changed. This is probably an additional.
It's the second one.
Looks like it. So they wanted, some young lady called me and left a voicemail, and then I called her back and wanted a private meeting with me, and I said, well, you need to come to Commissioner's Court so the whole court hears your plans and what have you. And they didn't want to do that. I said, well, then go through our county attorney. So that's where we're at.
Okay.
I've got a question. And,
Yes, sir.
I don't normally ask you questions on this, but why did Kendall County get shut down there? Do you have any ideas?
Well, no, not
Location
directly.
mainly,
Just
wasn't
the
it?
location. I think the main thing that I've seen is, they have a fire marshal, and they are able to adopt a fire code. We're not. We could have a fire marshal. And as a result of their code, they were able to insist that the best developers, put in a second road for egress and ingress in the event of a fire or an emergency. Because right now, there's just one small little residential road that takes you back to where they wanted to be that, could be obstructed and people couldn't get in and out. So that was kind of the card that they were playing, and whether that was the thing that tipped them over or whether it was just, funds are drying
It'd
up.
be good to know if it
for
is,
some of these.
because I will tell you that we have a road right there next to 479. It's
Yep.
called Interstate 10.
Yep, I'm
And
aware
we
of
could
that.
shut it down if one of these caught on fire.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
it probably would have to be shut down if one of these
Yeah,
catches on fire. with the
predominant
amount of-
wind would
Yeah,
close it.
with the
Yeah.
amount of thick smoke
Yep.
that would be coming, so.
Yeah.
And then what do you do with that traffic? Because these
Or we could
fires
issue
last for days.
M95
couple
and ask
days.
everybody going down the freeway.
Yeah, well, can you imagine, 3-4 days of something burning that's, such thick smoke that people can't see to, I-10 has to be closed. That's
Well, I can tell you for,
national implications.
I can tell you for a fact, having served on the TxDOT committee studying I-10, no, we cannot survive 4 days of closure of
Yeah.
I-10, period. That just cannot happen.
Maybe we need to get TxDOT involved then, because that's exactly what would happen if,
And that is the direction of the prevailing wind.
that's right.
Yeah, having had I-10 rerouted through our small road is not a good thing. And that happened once since I've been here. Having it rerouted through town,
Several times, stuff out,
not good.
wrecks, that caused it.
My opinion
Well,
on that,
especially in that location.
as far as why, I think it's successful public outcry and pressure to make them explain what they're trying to do, and exposing all the different products that go into it, which are Chinese made. And I think it became very difficult for them to actually produce a product that fit within regulations exposed by the fire marshal.
Right.
I think we're gonna find that East Best developer will have difficulty fully complying with the existing safety and fire codes that are applicable for our state, which we're subject to. But again, that's why we need that expert consultant to advise us. We are the authority having jurisdiction, so we'll then be able to start a dialogue with the developer and make sure they are very well aware that they will have to fully comply
Right.
with the existing codes and standards. Any other questions?
That's it.
That's just an update.
That's an update.
Okay, we'll move on to item 1.15, consider, discuss, take appropriate action to approve and authorize county judge to execute a contract for technical consultant services between Kerr County and Columbia Power Systems, Inc. for consulting services related to utility-grade energy storage systems, and rescind court order number 41710.
And you wanna, basically, that we had already approved awarding this contract. This is with Dr. Robert Steele. He truly is an expert on, the codes, 855, which is the standard, and NFPA 1, and all the other related codes in particular. Also, he's an expert on UL 9540, which is key in terms of batteries. But having him review this report that we already have from East West Best, even though they pulled it back off, it sheds a lot of light on what they would be proposing. And again, I look forward to having him do a review of that report and advise the court of all the areas that it definitely is deficient, and especially in light of the governor's recent order prohibiting the use of cattle batteries.
I drafted this professional services agreement and have been in communication with Dr. Steele about his comfort level with it. And, we talked about what he's done in the county as far as their professional services agreement goes. So we worked together to come up with this agreement and I think you guys will enjoy working with him. In the agreement, I want to point out one thing that wasn't in his letter that he sent before. It's a limitation on the amount
Absolutely. Thank you. So basically, the earlier agreement that we saw just needed to be tweaked a little bit. Some revisions have been made, but it's still the same contract, a similar contract to achieve the same purpose, and the court will hire Dr. Robert Steele.
And so I think that you'll need two, motions, one to rescind the last,
Right.
court order, and then another motion to approve this contract.
Okay. So I will make a motion to rescind court order 41710.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to rescind court order number 41710. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Rescinded unanimously.
So, I mean, we've already called it, right? I can make a motion to approve this contract? Okay. So I'll make a motion to approve and authorize the county judge to execute a contract for technical consultant services between Kerr County, and Columbia Power Systems, Inc. for consulting services related to utility-grade energy storage systems.
Second.
Thank you.
There's a motion and a second to approve the contract with, proposed contract with Technical Consultant Services, our Columbia Power Systems, Inc., as presented. Any discussion?
Yeah, where's the $50,000 coming from?
Yeah, that's more than a tweak. 2,500 to 50,000?
I don't know where the 2,500 came from.
I'm
Well,
looking
that's
at
what, that was in the last motion.
It was in the last.
It was,
Yeah.
You can put that amount in here, you just suggested an amount to limit it, and, I don't know where that comes from, but.
I don't recall, that was in the last one? I don't
Yeah,
recall that we
it
limited it
was.
at 2,500.
That's what the estimate was.
Yeah.
So that's gonna limit him to about 10 hours of work for y'all, and I don't know that you even get through one plan review for that amount.
Yeah. Well, I would guess that we probably could get that done because the length, the number of pages was somewhere around 80 pages in that Fajardo report. I doubt that it would take him much longer to get through
Well,
that.
it sounds to me like
On a
all we
high-level
need him to do
basis.
is look and see if he's got stuff that falls
Yeah.
within what the governor allows or doesn't. And that shouldn't take but a small review of,
Well, I tend to agree. It shouldn't.
I don't know, I'm not an engineer.
because I'm not in favor of spending $50,000 for a complete plan review and on all of that.
I don't think that.
That was the cap, isn't it?
It's just a
Well,
cap.
that's a cap, but it's a cap that's beyond our limits right now.
Exactly.
So do you want me to include $2,500 in there?
Oh, no, we've already rescinded that order. The
Yeah.
question is, where's the money gonna come from?
Professional services.
That's right. And you're in conversations with him, obviously.
Yes, and he's got some good suggestions and things he wants to talk to y'all about too, so but I can't speak for what his work looks like.
Well, I know.
I mean, how he works, what that looks
Well, we just need to have a lot of control over what our guidance is on this to him and what we're wanting.
like. I think he'll hear you and he'll follow your instructions about limiting his work, number of hours. You just let me know what number you want me to plug in there, and I'll let him know, and then he'll be working with the 5 of you, on marching orders.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm all for a contract with this guy. Always have been.
Yeah.
But we do have to know where the money's coming from. And if we have it available.
Well, professional services.
We have money in professional
It
services.
would be in professional services, if you spend more than the budget that is there, it would have to come from contingency funds.
Well, right now, we have a $12.6 million hole that we don't have the money to replenish, that we're spending out of our savings account. And this does not seem to be a prudent thing to do under these fiscal circumstances. Where's the money gonna come from? I'm not against doing this, but we gotta find a way to get the money. And just because we've got some kind of professional services item in the budget for this year, that doesn't mean we're gonna be able to sustain this at all. That's just burning money that we don't have, in my opinion. And again, I'm not opposed to doing something, but show me where we're gonna be able to pay for this.
We need to get an idea or an estimate on what
Well,
his cost is gonna be.
it just depends how much, where it goes. I mean, that initial
Well,
review, I
we can
think, is
approve a
probably that
contract without
2,500.
executing anything on it, correct?
Say what?
We can go ahead and approve a contract without executing anything as far as the services.
Well, I'm not.
Yeah.
Y'all can do what you wanna do. I just don't think this is fiscally responsible.
Yeah.
I'm happy to put a different amount in there to limit that ceiling on what you wanna spend.
Tanya, what do we have in professional services?
I would have to look,
Gotcha.
I don't know that off the top of
I
my
understand.
head right now what's the-
I know.
Will you allow somebody to speak that wants to speak from the audience?
Have you signed up? Who wants to speak?
I'm sorry, Judge, but I have not signed up. I didn't realize we were looking at this kind of inflation and the amount asked.
Get your form.
She's already, just add, she's got one in front of you for the next item, so just add it.
Nope.
No?
Does she?
Yes, 116, she does.
Yes, she does.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate your consideration. One of the things that occurs to me is they are reviewing plans that have been withdrawn. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes. That is correct.
And so we're actually looking at something that right now the company is saying they're not going to do this. They could very well turn around after we spend X amount of money to review these plans and give us different plans. And then we'd be on the hook for reviewing those plans. This is
And they could do
spending
that
money.
a number of times to us.
Exactly. You know, given our current financial situation, I think perhaps we're jumping on something that we don't need to do right now. The plans have been withdrawn. Now, if we have an agreement with Steele that he could meet the 30-day timeline if this company would submit new plans, that he would review them for us, then I think we've got something, to work on. Right now, the company said, no, don't pay any attention to those. We've withdrawn them. I think we're wasting money here. I wouldn't review them at all. Thank you.
Well stated.
Well, let me just say that they withdrew, not necessarily the plans, I mean, they did, but they withdrew their request because they wanted a variation to the standards with respect to a water sprinkler system and respect to having water stored on site. So, as far as we know, otherwise, the plan is still what they submitted. They would go forward with it. To me, it's very important that we take a quick review. We don't have to spend much money, but we need a shot across the bow before they invest a bunch of money in this site, so that they understand that we are deadly serious here, and we are going to insist that they fully comply. Because there are a lot of other things that they have not provided that would be required to be fully compliant. And having a list of those items, I think, would be very useful.
I don't
That's
think
my
we have
opinion.
bow shot in the budget right now.
Well, I don't either, and here's my problem too, is that if the governor has stated they cannot have these things in there,
Yes.
it doesn't matter when they put them in, they can be stopped. You just even quoted what they're talking about doing in Van Zant, right?
Yeah.
Going in and taking a look at stuff, that's after the fact.
But that the problem that we're seeing is nobody's actually enforcing a lot of the stuff that they're putting out there. How do you have 700 missing attestations?
Well, I just want to be crystal clear. I'm not adverse to trying to regulate these best plants as best we can. I'm not adverse to trying to get a statewide fire code that we can enforce. I'm not against any of this stuff. I just don't see how we can afford to pay for it in this budget cycle where we are. That's my concern. It's just a dollars and cents concern. And it seems like to me, we're getting help from the governor, we're getting help from other counties. I'd ride their coattails as long as you could.
Sure.
We're the only county that's being attacked with this that's gone through what we have because of July 4th.
Well, sure.
And my point is that that's the problem that we have
Yep.
right now, is that it is it has hit us financially hard,
Sure.
and we're in a very vulnerable position because of that.
Yep. Unfortunately, none of these developers are gonna be particularly sympathetic
I
to
agree
that.
with you. I agree with you. I don't
And
disagree
they'll
with you
be-
on
they'll be
anything
watching
you,
this
I don't
discussion.
disagree with anything you've said.
Well, I can tell you that I think the governor, I think Tatum, I think we do have friends that are mindful of our dilemma of where we are here. And before we race out and spend a bunch of money, I'd like to see what kind of support we can garner.
Well, what are you willing to spend? I'd love to at least spend that $2,500.
If we can,
Nobody had a problem with the $2,500 last time we had it before the court, and I would venture to guess that nobody has a problem with spending $2,500 right now. But we don't have the ability to spend $50,000 right now.
Then let's limit it.
I'm good with limiting $2,500.
Okay. Let's
Do you want to
spend
add that to your motion with the limit cap?
I'd be happy to.
Okay.
It kind of takes us back to where we were, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Kinda
what we
does.
just rescinded.
But okay, so
So I will
you're amending your motion?
amend my motion to
And who
restrict
seconded? You
the
seconded?
total
You
spending under
accept
this
the-
contract for
Yes, sir,
right
I'm
now
just
to
waiting for her to
2,500.
finish.
Okay.
And I'll second that.
Got a motion amended, and amendment approved by the second. Any other discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Let's move on to item 1.16. Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to contract for part-time fire marshal for Kerr County and adopt a fire marshal permit and fee schedule for the same, similar to the schedule used by Kendall County. Commissioner Paces.
Well, this is,
Now, we've got some speakers on this one.
Oh,
Just
okay.
reminded me. Go ahead.
well, again, this was something that was proposed in our last meeting and tabled because our county attorney wanted to further investigate and look into this and determine whether we could have a permit and fee schedule without a fire marshal. My interpretation is we can't, so that was one question. And then the next one was really related to the next item, so I can't say too much, but she wanted to talk with another legal expert in this matter.
Well, let's stick with
So-
item 1.16 because we
That's
have
right.
people that want to speak on that.
Yes.
Okay.
And I need to have a motion and a second on this item in order to open the floor up for,
Well, this is
Input.
actually a motion and a second that was tabled, so is it not still active? We tabled this in our last meeting.
well, it was tabled.
Yep.
who made the motion and second?
I made the motion.
And I second.
I believe, yeah,
You
Now
make it-
it's
you-
tabled. I
you
don't know the
Reasserting the
protocol.
motion?
sure.
And
And
you're
I'll
reasserting the second?
Second again.
Okay, so we're there.
Okay.
So now we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? We've got a couple of speakers.
Yep.
The first one is Audrey Berner.
Good morning, Audrey Berner,
You need,
Kerr
you
County.
need, so people can hear on YouTube.
Okay. Good morning, Audrey Berner, Kerr County. I greatly appreciate you, Commissioner Paces, for your grit and determination in stopping these buses from coming to not only Kerr County, but the entire Hill Country. You are a leader in getting our 391 Hill Country Energy Subregional Planning Commission formed. You serve as our current president. You've reached out to state agencies, judges, fire marshals, anyone you thought might be able to help us in this fight. Thank you for continuing to bring up the issue of a fire marshal. Your dedication and fight has been unwavering. Thank you for running again for commissioner. I pray the voters in Precinct 2 vote to allow you to continue being the leader our county needs. There's not a better man to lead in this fight, nor is there a better man to serve as commissioner for Precinct 2. We received incredibly good news last Tuesday from Kerr County, and I credit and thank God for this gift. East Point Energy, a company out of Norway, notified the Kendall County judge they decided to discontinue pursuing the proposed BESS in Kendall County. I don't know if the company gave a reason to the judge. My experience with these companies is they lie, so even if they gave a reason, I'm not sure it would have been the truth. My guess is, and it is only a guess, I have not confirmed this with anyone, is that the company came up against Fire Marshal Brady Constantine in Kendall County, his 23-page emergency management energy storage system guide, and a couple of great commissioners in Kendall County. I believe the company realized they will have to comply with that fire marshal and the requirements in this guide. I'm sure the company also learned that Kendall County retained Dr. Robert Steele as an expert and a consultant in this fight. I don't know East Point Energy's reason. I'm just grateful to God that the company has moved on from Kendall County.
So while Kendall County got some great news last week, Kerr County was not so fortunate. I was told by Commissioner Harris on Thursday of last week that he received a phone call from another BESS company. The company is planning on putting a different BESS in Mountain Home next to where East Point is looking at putting their BESS. Commissioner Harris said the company wanted to speak with him about the BESS, and he said he told them they need to come speak to the entire Commissioner's Court. Thank you, Commissioner Harris, for your transparency for our county. You will truly be missed as a leader on this court. However, I know you will be phenomenal as JPM Precinct 4, sir. I need all of you gentlemen up there to truly think about what is at stake for our county, our livestock, the wildlife, just our way of life in this beautiful hill country if we get these BESSes here. The companies I know of are all foreign-owned. South Korea, Norway, Finland. These foreign-owned companies use lithium batteries from China, a country identified as a foreign adversary. Our own Department of Defense has removed China-made lithium batteries from our military installations. Commissioner Paces has stated on prior occasions that Volt Typhoon took over San Antonio's electric grid for 4 hours in 2023. Think about that. A reportedly China-backed hacking group taking over an electric grid in our state for 4 hours. I'm sorry, I'm very angry. According to an article I read in Energy Choice Matters, ERCOT on 5/30/25 issued a market notice concerning widespread non-compliance with the reporting and attestation obligations regarding the purchase of critical electric grid equipment and critical electric grid services. According to ERCOT, over 500 market participants have failed to submit a Lone Star Infrastructure Protection Act attestation. When Mike Hoke, the Director of Public Engagement with the Public Utility Commission of Texas, came to our 391 meeting in November of last year, he stated over 300 attestations were missing. So both ERCOT and PUCT know these attestations are missing, but it appears neither has done anything to make these market participants comply. There does not appear to be any oversight, nor does it appear there are any consequences of these companies failing to complete the attestations. I want to remind this court that Governor Abbott has issued executive orders GA 48 and GA 49 for hardening state government and protecting critical infrastructure. Senator Donna Campbell signed a letter dated 3/8/24 opposing a BESS company installing a BESS in Kendall County. Texas State Representative Ellen Troxclair signed 2 letters dated 2/18/24 and 5/15/24 in strong opposition to BESS companies looking to install BESS in Kendall County. Citizens have stood up and voiced our concerns. Our county has created a 391 Sub-Regional Planning Commission with 2 other counties to stand up against these BESSes. Kendall and Kerr counties have signed resolutions in opposition to BESS in our hill country. My point is, so far, in 2 years of all of our hard work and dedication, virtually nothing has been done to stop these greedy companies from coming to our hill country. My understanding is that if we have a fire marshal, we can implement a permit and fee schedule. With the fire marshal, we can have an emergency management energy storage system guide similar to Kendall County's, with compliance that has to be met and is completely spelled out. We can require companies submit a site-specific emergency response plan. We can require companies submit a site-specific hazard mitigation analysis. We can require companies to submit the UL 9540A, which is the test method designed to meet stringent fire safety and building code requirements for battery energy storage systems, according to UL.com. It seems to me a fire marshal is the only tool that has been effective in stopping these BESSes, as we have seen from Fire Marshal Palmer in Van Zant County. I want to remind all of you gentlemen, the East West BESS Company submitted paperwork and documents to the court, and they were requesting code modifications for their project in Mountain Home. Their request was to be an agenda item in Commissioner's Court on 11/24/25. Thank God the company canceled. The company had already submitted paperwork and many documents. According to Fire Marshal Palmer in Van Zant County, there are only 30 days to action a BESS company's submission, or it is essentially approved and the company gets to move on in their work. I want each of you up there to explain to me and all of our Hill Country residents what our county would have done if the company had not canceled. What recourse would we have had against these best companies? 2 Timothy 1:7 states, "For God has not given us a spirit of timidity, but of power and love and discipline." I believe God is leading us in this fight. I also believe that God expects us to look to Him, to pray, and to stand up for ourselves and our neighbors. I truly believe our best offense in this fight is a fire marshal, adopting an emergency management energy storage system guide, and adopting the permit and fee schedule. The fire marshal has been successful in Van Zandt County. The permit and fee schedule from one company will most likely pay for a part-time fire marshal for at least 1 year. The East-West Best Company came to us over 2 months ago, and we still do not have this issue resolved. We only want to hire an intelligent, like-minded individual who truly wants to protect our residents and our hill country and who only speaks the truth. We do not have to make this a long-term position that will go on for many years. We can simply hire a fire marshal with the understanding to both sides that this is a trial position and can be eliminated if there comes a need. As I stated prior, I do not know a greater threat to our county, to our hill country, and to our way of life. God has gifted us reprieves and opportunities. It is time to be proactive and to take action and use the protection of a fire marshal in this fight. Before I conclude, I would like to clear up a misunderstanding I had when I spoke in court on January 12, 26. My understanding was that these best companies have to begin construction in July of 2026, and be completed December of 2030 to get all of the subsidies from our government. I have since learned that that information is incorrect. I want the public to know that. There are differing dates and timelines for solar, wind, and battery. Please stand with our county in this fight. Please stand up for our firefighters, our law enforcement officers, and our first responders in our county. I need each one of y'all to answer why, what this county would have done had this best company in Mountain Home not canceled in January of 2025. I need each one of y'all to answer each one of us residents out here. May we all continue to seek God's wisdom and do His will, and may God continue to bless Texas and bless America. Thank y'all.
So Audrey, if they had come to us with that, it was for a variance only, and it most likely would have been denied.
Okay, but
So that
is
would have
that,
been, to answer your
No,
question.
I understand that, but was that not submitting their documents? And we have 30 days to action those documents, sir?
Well, that was strictly on that one topic that they
But-
would have submitted.
Okay.
This
they
is not a
submitted-
debate.
No,
You've
no,
had your
I'm not-
opportunity to present your case.
I'm asking a question. Is that not them submitting their documents so the 30-day timeline starts?
They withdrew it.
I'm saying if they had not withdrawn it, sir, what would we have done as a county if that was out there and they had not withdrawn it? I don't want to fight with you. I don't want to debate anyone. I think y'all owe us an answer. Is that not the 30-day countdown? And I don't know if you can answer, General Counsel. I don't know, but it
Ms.
seems.
Berner, thank you for your comments.
Can you answer my question, please, sir?
Thank you for your comments.
That's what we have, county.
Let me read the agenda item again, so we stay focused on what the agenda item is. And that is to consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to contract for a part-time fire marshal from Kerr County to adopt a fire marshal permit fee and schedule for the same, similar to the schedule used by Kendall County. That's what's before the court. And Ms. Ferguson, you've also signed up to speak?
Excuse me, Barbara Ferguson, Kerr County. In regards to the fire marshal, it was brought up in court. I am not in favor of hiring a fire marshal. I don't think we've got the money for it. I don't like the impact it could have on the county in a lot of other ways, a lot of the unintended consequences of hiring one. What I am in favor of is contracting part-time for specific duties with a fire marshal. And in the code, Texas code, it says that a marshal will faithfully and strictly perform the duties of the office. I've asked a couple of people who sets the duties of the office. And I understand, whether they're experts in it or not, I'm not sure, but I understand that that is set by the Commissioners Court. Now, if the Commissioners Court can set the duties of the office and that fire marshal has to strictly perform those duties, then why couldn't it be set that there are certain businesses that the fire marshal will inspect? And those are the businesses that exceed these kinds of parameters. And those parameters would outline businesses that at the current time in Kerr County would only include Best. And at that point, that fire marshal can set his fees and regulations. So he pays for himself this part-time. He is limited by you, by the court, to only meet the, inspect the businesses that meet those parameters. And I think by doing that, we would have avoided the unintended consequences of flat-out hiring a fire marshal, but we would obtain the objectives we want, to have someone to accept the applications from Best, to review them, and to recommend to the court whether they are meeting the specifications. And through the fees and regulations, it would pay for his services. That's what I would like to see the court consider.
Thank you.
That's kind of what I've got in my notes for questions for Heather already. Can we create an ILA with like Kendall County for the fire marshal, adopt the schedules and limit the scope of their work
Yes.
without being considered targeting?
You can adopt the fees and schedules if you do an interlocal agreement with another county for a fire marshal. But I would caution you about, limiting the scope of their work so that you're not targeting, like, to use your word, a particular type of business. So that there's not selective enforcement.
Sure. Well, the motion was to hire a part-time contract fire marshal, so pretty much the proposal before the court is exactly what Barbara Duell Ferguson has suggested here. Now, in terms of, I also agree we have to be a little careful, but I would propose that we adopt a permit and fee schedule and then direct the part-time fire marshal to review all new commercial projects. Best would be included, of course, but might be a couple others too. And the fees from those permits would pay the cost. And it's up to this court to decide how many hours the fire marshal works, but it does give us the ability to pay the cost.
You know, Rich, I think everybody is sympathetic to the concern about these Best facilities. I haven't talked to anyone who is not concerned about it. The real question is, what can we do, and what's it gonna cost?
Sure.
And what's being proposed here is a very specific type of limitation that we would hire a part-time fire marshal for. And-
Contract.
Huh?
Contract.
I understand,
Yeah, not
contract.
hire, but
Not hire, contract.
Right.
I stand corrected on that. But at the end of the day, I think we really ought to be able to read the limitation that we've got in it so that we can get some kind of legal input from our county attorney and even outside sources as to, is that targeting, is that selective enforcement? Because that's what we're trying to avoid. We don't want to litigate with these people. We don't mind, crossing swords with them, doing what we can, but at the same time, we've got to be able to, what can we afford to do, and what is it that we can actually do that's defensible? Isn't that where we really are?
I agree.
So we're unanimous behind that.
Yep.
But what do we do?
I think we vote. This has been called for a vote. That's my answer.
Call the next item and I'll-
Okay,
Ma'am, I'm sorry.
I'm fine.
After you vote on this item, you call the next item and I can help walk through with that.
Okay.
Heather, can you just clarify before we take our vote? Do you see any other way that we can have a permit and fee schedule without a fire marshal?
Not at this time, no, sir.
Thank you.
And that is the dilemma. That is the horn of the dilemma that we're all seated on right now, and it hurts. It's painful.
Well, that's
So,
that's kind of the problem with my vote right now. Because we need to know that that we're not unleashing the fire marshal, and that we can impose those specific limitations to what we're talking about doing without creating a problem.
So the next agenda item is an item where, for the court to consider retaining, outside counsel to help walk through some of these issues, someone who has expertise and experience in this area. And so that will help you answer the question, maybe not today.
Well, then how can I vote on this right now until we hear that?
Can we,
Let's
can we
hold
leave
on
this
this.
one and go to the next
Yeah,
one
why not?
for discussion and come back?
it's your motion. If you agree to let us do that, we can move on to the
I
next item.
absolutely agree. Let's address the next
Second
item and
agree
then
to
come
that?
back to this.
As long as
Okay.
we vote and come back, yes.
Okay. So this is a one agenda item
Okay.
deference. So let me call item, is item 1.17, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to approve and authorize the county judge to execute a fee agreement with Taylor, Olson, Atkins, Srala, and Elam LLP.
Well,
Mr. Basis.
okay. I'm gonna ask our county attorney to take the podium, or, well, I guess you can do it from there, okay.
So I'm trying to be better about turning it on so the public can hear who's watching.
Yeah.
But if you'd like me to go to the podium.
Well, I don't mind either way, but.
Just speak up in your microphone.
Okay, this is, the attorney we talked about was Nick McCamey, who's representing Gillespie County and their litigation involving Bess. And I visited with him some about the questions that you guys have asked, about the authority with and without a fire marshal.
Yep.
And, regulation of Bess facilities specifically. And, even about a document that Mr. Warner, mentioned, the guidance, the best guidance. I think that Dr. Steele helped Kendall County draft, which he also suggested. So there are some things that Nick's expertise, Mr. McCamey's expertise, will really help you guys move forward on the question of whether or not you hire a fire marshal, whether it's this fiscal year or next fiscal year, or contract for a fire marshal. But it will, his expertise will help provide the guidance you all need to make these decisions that are very important to y'all in the public.
So I guess the question will immediately become, well, what's this gonna cost us and where's the money gonna come from?
It would be professional services as well, and my computer keeps kicking me out, and I didn't bring a copy of the contract. Give me just 1 minute. I did provide this, agreement to you all before our last commissioners board meeting. You don't have it in your backup by any chance?
No.
It's not part of the public backup, but
I recall seeing it.
Yeah, I do
don't
too.
remember the details.
send it out.
It's,
$415
yeah,
an hour.
$415 and $325 per hour for all other attorneys, and $130 an
Yeah,
hour
that was
for
it.
paralegals.
I guess the question is, do you have any estimate of what it would cost to get him to address the concerns you'd like to put to him?
I don't have an estimate of the hours that it would cost. You can certainly put a limit on it like you did with Dr. Steele, but he is familiar with this area of the law in a way that, his research time will be limited, just like Dr. Steele.
And it looks like he's done this before, so it's not starting fresh.
That's right. And you'll need the right answers from someone who
Of course.
works in this field.
We did 10 hours for the previous. Is it right to say to do 10 hours for this?
I think that's a good exploratory feedback to find out. Let's find out what they can tell us. I mean, to answer your question, yeah, I think so. $5,000, $4,000, something like that. 5,000 probably.
So you want to make your motion that way?
Yeah, I can make that motion. So I'll make a motion that the court approve and authorize county judge to execute a fee agreement with Taylor, Olson, Adkins, Shrala, Elam, LLP, and limit the cost to $5,000.
Not to exceed 5,000.
Not to exceed 5,000, thank you.
I'll second.
We've got a motion and a second to enter into a fee agreement with this law firm that's been identified here in the presentation for fees not to exceed $5,000. Any discussion?
Yeah, do we know what kind of a time frame it would take for them to do this?
I can see if you can get here at your next meeting.
Yeah.
All right, so
Okay.
if we can put this on the next agenda,
Yes, sir. If he can't be here at your next meeting, we'll get him on the next one.
Next
Or
available.
you can have a special meeting just to have him come down and get you all some.
yeah, that's an
We need to
extremely
move
important
quickly on
issue.
it,
We
so
need to
if
do
you can't be
something.
here Monday, yeah.
Since,
our next
since we
court-
do every Monday, even though the second and the fourth are the official regular courts meetings, let's try to get it on the next Monday that he's available.
I will see if he can be here on Monday.
Excellent.
Okay, any other discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. We're trying to get there. Now let's go back to 1.16. Is there any further business on 116 at this point?
Do you want to take a vote on it?
Yes, I've asked to vote on 116. We have a motion and a second
There's a
already.
motion and a second.
Those in favor, raise your hand. Those opposed? Those abstain? 2, and 1. Motion fails.
Let me just say that I'd like to see it on the next agenda after
Yes.
we hear from
Yeah,
this.
absolutely, that's
I'm
what
sure
we're
you
trying to
will.
do.
Well, no, I mean, after we hear from this guy.
Well,
that's-
just
right.
make sure the order is,
Yeah, because if
but
we
you
hear
will
from
see
this
it on the
guy,
next
you'll probably
agenda.
see me go
Yeah.
a different direction.
until we get there.
Exactly. But we need to hear from him first.
Okay.
Okay. Let's move on to item 1.18. Consider, discuss, take appropriate action to submit a grant application to the Patrol Vehicle Replacement Project Precinct 3 for Kerr County Constable Precinct 3 Office through the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program from the Office of the Governor. And
Good morning, Your Honor, Commissioners, members of the audience. For those that do not know who I am, my name is Paul Gonzalez, Kerr County Constable, Precinct 3, and this is a second year in a row to try to apply for a grant for a replacement vehicle for the Constable's Office, Precinct 3, to try to save the county some money. This is,
we tried this last year, right?
yes, sir, we did.
we wanna try it again now?
We got approved,
Mhm.
but unfortunately, it's a pot of money, and
They ran out of money.
they ran out of money right before they got to mine. Yes, sir.
Can you think of any reason why we wouldn't want to try this again?
No, sir.
Just
so
to
the
refresh our
Doesn't hurt to
memory.
ask.
Yeah, no, and just so the court knows, I'm just trying to be proactive. We have 2 vehicles in our fleet. One's 11 years old with about 104,000 miles, and the second one is 9 years old, approaching 60,000 miles. The vehicle, the second vehicle is not only a loaner for other constables in Kerr County, but it's also a vehicle that our other deputy constables use. So I'm just trying to be proactive, trying to get ahead of this, because at some point, we're gonna need to replace these vehicles, and, or at least one of them pretty quickly. And so that's my mission, is try to get this, get ahead of
I
it.
never see a problem in asking for a grant.
No,
So
sir.
I'll make a motion that we do it.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, thank you.
Thank you. And the
Don't go away.
resolution has been submitted for,
Okay. Now, here comes our grant person.
resolution has been submitted for signature, so we can get that submitted to the grant as well. Thank you.
So the next item on the agenda is item 1.19. Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to submit a grant application for the 216th DA Digital Forensics Project for the 216th District Attorney's Office through the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program from the Office of the Governor. Ms. Putnam.
So this item and also the next are for the same purpose. The 216th DA is seeking to get a digital forensics grant for software and the capability to access and compile data and analyze data for the digital forensics for their cases. And so one of these, this one here is through ACOG. It's through the same grant sources, what we're
Right.
going for Paul, and also another one for the sheriff.
And again, I see no reason not to ask for the grant, so I'll make a motion that we do it.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Don't go away. Item 1.21. Oh, no, we're not. 120, right?
120.
120. Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to submit a grant application to the 216th DA Mobile Forensic Initiative Project for the 216th District Attorney's Office through the FC District Attorney Testing of Forensic Evidence Grant Program from the Office of the Governor. Ms. Putnam.
Part of the same project, just two different funding sources.
Again, I make a motion that we do it.
Second.
Got a second? Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Item 1.21. Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to submit an application for the Operation Lone Star FY 27 project for the Kerr County Sheriff's Office through the EBD Operation Lone Star Grant Program for the Office of the Governor. Ms. Putnam.
This is for fiscal year 27, Operation Lone Star, same as it has been in the past previous years. I believe, Scott, is this the fourth year or third? Fifth year.
Yeah, I want to say it's been at least 4.
I move for approval.
Got a motion
Second.
and a second to approve this grant application.
What's EBD?
An
EBD?
acronym that I do not know. Oh, is it also Edward Byrne, maybe?
No, I don't think it is. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Ooh, I like that. Tricks you. Okay. It's not important, that's okay, I was just curious, because it's got it, is it right before Operation Lone Star, so I was curious if it was a,
Well, but I want to pass it this week.
yes.
These grants are all due on the 12th, and then the summaries are due on the 16th, so we're right
Under
at
the
the
gun.
end of grant season,
Yep.
super busy.
Okay, I'm good.
I
Okay.
think we have seven
Any other discussion?
ongoing grants right now.
Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous.
Thank you.
Now, before you leave the podium,
Yes.
I want to take a point of privilege and advise the public that there was a grant opportunity that was available to Kerr County, a $350,000 grant to purchase, or for at least partial payment down on a ambulance to be used out in the county. This is something that the governor's office has been promoting for some time now. Back in the fall, a couple of the other commissioners and I went to an AgriLife extension CLE, continuing education program, and they talked about it, and we were struggling to see how it would apply to us. And when I say this, I'm not exaggerating it. Less than 2 weeks ago, I get a call from people over at the city wanting to know if we'd be willing to submit this grant application for them to get another ambulance to be able to service out in the county, which is something that is of vital concern to us. And I won't say that it was somewhat flippant, but it was, like a wing and a prayer. He said, well, yeah, we'll look into it and try to get it done. Filing deadline was January 31st. We actually got together with them to go over the details last week. And I want you to know that Ms. Putnam got this grant application together, got it timely filed, and we are trying to work with the city to be able to get another ambulance out in the county, thanks to her timely and tireless efforts. Thank you.
Yes.
It-
All right.
Good job.
That one's just starting. We'll see how much work that's gonna be once we get the.
We don't have it, we haven't landed it yet, but we got the bait in the water, right?
This is just the application. It's not the work yet.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you know, does that grant just cover the vehicle, or does it cover the techs that go with it?
It should cover the vehicle and most
I
of the,
think,
most of everything that goes on it.
Pretty much
And
outright.
we have 5 years, from the
No, no, it
date
doesn't cover
of.
Costly.
No.
I think we need to stick to the agenda items, guys.
Time out. Everybody's talking at one time.
The agenda item is Operation Lone Star.
Oh,
Yes.
I can talk to you about it later, but yes, it should be
True.
fine.
That was my personal privilege, so, but it's just the equipment, hardware. Item 1.22 is consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to accept JUR donation to Kerr County Veteran Service Office totaling $430 for the first quarter. Ms. Sullivan,
I just need you to accept the donations that were donated by jurors.
I move for approval.
Second.
you got a motion and a second? Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. And I understand you're gonna pass on 23?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll move on to item 1.24. Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to approve the Kerr County Incentive Program as part of the Texas Association of Counties Healthy County Rewards Program for 2026. Ms. Solden.
I gave you a chart in your backup, and it's the same as what you approved for the last year incentive. So I'm just asking for the same incentive for employees that complete certain physical or annual physicals and healthy county activities.
I move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion, a second to approve the Kerr County Incentive Program as presented to the Texas Association of Counties. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous?
Rob, can we take a quick break?
Yes. Let's take about
one.
a 5-minute break. We're gonna get to you. I know you're here.
I know, see, fire department wants it too.
The next item on the agenda is item 1.25. Consider, discuss, or take appropriate action to clarify the rules and approval process associated with the controlled burn ban program as it applies during county burn bans. And we'll let you start with this, Commissioner Harris, and then we'll go to our speaker.
It's his agenda item.
Okay, your item.
And-
Just
and-
introduce us to the topic.
Yes, sir. This item was put on here basically as a result of a CARFA meeting that I attended, and there was quite a bit of discussion and, let's just say, confusion about the process for prescribed burns and who gets informed and who doesn't, who needs to approve them, and then the other question is, how long are these burn plans valid for? So it just seemed like it's something that all I want to do is get everybody on the same page and make sure that we're all consistent in our understanding of the approval process for a prescribed burn.
Okay, now let me ask the expert. We have a speaker here, Wesley Evans, who is with the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, and he is from May, Texas. And for those of you who don't know where that is in Brown County, up by Brownfield.
Yes, sir. Thank you. My title is Regional Fire Coordinator for the Wildlife Division. So I cover about 60 counties. Part of my job is to administer prescribed burns on our wildlife management areas, and also I assist landowners with doing prescribed burns on their property. And so I deal with a bunch of counties and navigate burn bans and approvals, and so Commissioner Harris asked me to come and answer any questions that y'all might have about the burn plans and process. So that's what I'm here for.
Well, let me kind of start it off. In Kerr County, we do things differently. Because we're from Kerr County, we do it a little bit different. But because our county is so long and narrow, and we have 4 precincts, while it is the county judge's responsibility to oversee these prescribed burns like this and to handle when the burn ban goes on and goes off, what we've done is delegate that out to our 4 precinct commissioners.
Yes,
And that's because far West Kerr County doesn't look anything like far East Kerr County. Really, it doesn't look anything like it at all. And so with that, when these
Prescribed burn.
prescribed burn plans come through, we have traditionally handled them through the commissioners. Now, I get copies, but in terms of second guessing somebody or overruling somebody or having a difference of opinion about that is not something that I frequently entertain, if you get my drift.
Yes, sir.
I defer to not only their judgment, but particularly to yours in Texas Parks and Wildlife as to what should be done about these prescribed burns. Maybe it'd be good if you just start off and gave us a little bit of a description of what a prescribed burn ban actually entails.
Plan.
The plan.
A plan?
Plan,
Okay,
yeah,
so,
plan.
right, so, a prescribed burn plan, it's a written plan, and there's different forms and templates that you can do. I gave y'all a couple, right? So, templates, the Texas Department of Agriculture, their prescribed burn board sets the standards for prescribed burning. What's a safe burn plan or that? And so I gave y'all some, some bullet points of what has to be in a written burn plan. So the first one is the purpose of the burn, the prescribed burn manager information, so the person in charge of that burn. Burn site information, so the location of the burn, the size, how to get to the burn, all that stuff. And then there's personnel and equipment requirements, so how many people that you need to safely conduct a burn, what kind of equipment has to be on site, what kind of fire breaks or the control lines around the prescribed burn, all that in there. There's also parts in there where there's a list of notifications that have to be made, right? And so we always, notify, the sheriff's office, the dispatch, and whomever, if it's in a burn.
VFDs, yeah.
Yes, sir. The VFDs, Some counties require that we notify TCEQ and that kind of stuff. And then that, you know, and then safety stuff, it's usually so it should be very detailed, right? That you have a written burn plan that kind of covers all your contingencies and how you're gonna operate the burn and the weather prescription, you know? So under which conditions that you're gonna do the burn. And then it's also incumbent on the prescribed burn leader, that burn manager, to follow the burn plan.
Right.
Right, and it's kind of a legal document saying that you're gonna do these things when you're burning, so.
I routinely get them from you for
Yes,
the
sir.
Kerr Wildlife Management Area, and then when conditions are right, Deanna usually sends me a text, hey, we're gonna pull the trigger in the morning, or this morning, or something like that. And it's very professional and well done. As of right now, we have 2 certified prescribed burn certified people in Kerr County. And one question that's come up here recently is, how long, if somebody turns in a prescribed burn plan, how long are they good for?
Yes, sir. Well, there's no, like
Deadline?
answer in the code, right, that goes, my general rule of thumb is I like to go over the burn plan every year, right, just to make sure nothing has changed. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm gonna rewrite the entire burn plan, but, you know, yearly, I like to go and look through them, and then if something has changed, I'll change it. I'll re-sign that I wrote the burn, you know, that date. But yes, so generally, like I would say probably every year, right? If someone wanted to burn during the burn ban, I would, you know, I would think they would look and resubmit it.
They need to be done by a certified burn plan person, right?
By the manager.
What's that, the burn plan or the?
Yeah, and being able to conduct them during the burn ban.
So the certified and insured burn manager program, right? There's separate rules for those individuals and just regular landowners that want to burn, right? So the certified burn manager has a legal, or, you know, they can burn during the burn ban unless there's a declaration,
Right.
An emergency declaration or something like that. There's different standards, right? They have to notify you, the county commissioners court, and everybody beforehand. So yes, there are separate things, but, you know, as far as who can write a burn plan, there's no really requirements on who can, you know, anyone can write a burn plan. So,
There's plenty of templates out there.
Yes, sir.
In RCS, y'all have them.
Yes, sir.
And what have you.
That's part of the problem, you know, the Department of Agriculture has a different one from.
Yes, sir.
But they're
Yes,
all.
and so.
They're similar, but-
And so all the, you know, the burn plan templates are all similar. I would suggest, so on the Texas Department of Agriculture, on their prescribed burn board website, they have a list of templates, and those are the ones that are printed off copies. So as long as, you know, the plan is one of those templates and everything's filled out, I would say it's, you know, a good plan.
Now, the other side of that, what you were talking about, is the individual landowners
Yes, sir.
that aren't burn plan managers or
Yes, sir.
certified burn. They can do it. Usually, we don't get any kind of burn plan from them or anything. And they're, that's kind of what happens sometimes, and they can burn when there's not a burn plan.
Yes, sir.
Burn ban
That's the
in
key.
effect.
That's the key.
And, so, you know, we don't know when they're doing it, and, hopefully they are contacting the VFDs, because usually I don't get notified about those. So, and
But
that
my
could be
understanding
some of
is-
the problem
Yes, I think it is.
that you're talking about.
Because again, it's when the burn ban is in place and they go ahead and burn, that's when there's problems. Because other people are gonna report it, they're gonna see the smoke.
Right.
And everybody gets all worked up. Especially if they haven't done all the notifications that they're planning to burn. And I do think that when the burn ban is in place, they actually have to have, by law, the burn ban manager who is certified and insured. Because insurance is the key, because if somehow it gets away from them,
And it's big.
they're gonna be held liable if it goes on to a neighbor's property or and does any damage. So, there's a big difference between burning during a burn ban versus when the ban's lifted, yeah, they don't have to tell you.
Right. Well, that was
They
the case
should.
a couple of weeks ago, I believe,
should.
with that one that that y'all talked about in Carfa. The VFD went out there, they contacted me, I was out of town, they said, hey, did so-and-so turn in a burn plan with you? I said, what's the name? And I didn't recognize it. Well, they turned it in 2024 to me, and, no, I didn't remember the name or what have you that long ago. And so, anyway, it was taken care of, and it didn't get out of hand or anything, but, I didn't remember it.
We've been talking about legalities
Yes, sir.
and legal requirements and what have you. Let me kind of step beyond that and talk about best practices. And I say this as the county judge. Everybody, I think, at this courthouse knows that I don't like surprises. And if you don't know, then let me tell you right now, I do not like surprises. And when it comes to burns, I especially do not like surprises. A burn plan, a prescribed burn plan, can be in effect for a year. It can be on file for multiple years. But that doesn't mean that we're ready for it. It doesn't mean that we're watching for it. And so the best practice is, anytime somebody wants to do a prescribed burn, even if you've got a plan, you know, even if everything, you're legal with what you're gonna do, call the dispatchers at the very least. You don't have to call me, but call my dispatchers. And I say my dispatchers, the sheriff's office dispatchers. Anything of an emergency nature needs to go through the dispatcher's office.
Yep. And the sheriff and I and dispatch met a couple weeks ago on this very subject. And, you know, and something I hadn't been doing, but I will going forward, and I recommend it to y'all, if y'all get somebody to send in a burn plan, forward it on to dispatch as well, so they have it on file. And that was a step I hadn't been doing, but from now on we will. And that one that was from 2024, you know, it'd been nice if he'd recontacted me,
Right.
you know.
And that's a courtesy.
Yes, common courtesy type deal.
And I'm not, Sheriff, I'm not trying to conscript your dispatchers, but let me tell you, they are between us and the deep blue sea. Because if anybody needs to know, they need to know what's going on.
Yes. They're getting the calls. They're on the front line, so.
Could I share a little bit different view on this? The base I was a commander of was 127,000 acres, comparable to the size of our county. And for controlled burns, it was always an opportunity to do mutual aid, mutual assistance. Whether it's a large property like our WMA or a large private property, you would have the EOC, Emergency Operations Center, stand up. You would have the emergency manager in charge, and you would do a mutual aid call out. Everyone would be prepared. So when we did the controlled burn, all the assets were there. Controlled burn would be done by the fire department or fire departments, because they just didn't have an opportunity and a focused opportunity. Our base happened to host it in a state which didn't like controlled burns. We didn't really care. We're federal. But we did that, and then all the other state departments would come in and have an opportunity to safely execute their equipment, have a safe controlled burn, so there is no surprises. This is an opportunity for our emergency management to be a little proactive, get mutual aid together, and to execute a good burn, so everyone's there on the radios and everyone's there at the equipment.
Well, and they do.
That's
Like,
beyond you, that's with our emergency manager and an opportunity. Just want to share that.
Our certified people that do this, they get all the equipment and assets there for wildlife management area to do an excellent job. It's all hands on deck, because they know they'd be under the spotlight if something went awry. So, it's very professional, by the ones that do it here.
Yes, sir. And there are kind of different sets of rules for the certified, and insured prescribed burn managers, and
right.
just the and a non-certified burner. And there's also different rules when it's a burn ban and not a burn ban as well. So there's a bunch of moving parts kind of in there, so.
There are, but again, if the burn ban is in place, you have to have a certified burn manager, and he has to be insured, right?
Unless.
That's my reading of all this.
Yes,
If
sir.
I'm wrong, correct me.
So unless they can get an exemption from the burn ban from the county judge. Or
Not likely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, right, so I mean, that's, that is.
Sure.
There are some counties that
Well-
will do that, or some, there's some counties where I go and sign a form, for the county commissioner saying I'm burning on this day, and I submit my burn plan, and they, it's a.
Well, and I'm just gonna say, Wildlife Division, you're not the problem.
Oh, yeah.
Where the confusion lies is probably more with our ranchers, so I focused on Department of Agriculture when I did my research on this topic. And for example, I asked the question, once a burn plan is approved, how long is it valid? And they came back, available information does not specify an exact duration for the validity.
It does, yeah.
However, it is required that a written prescribed burn plan be completed before every prescribed burn, suggesting that each burn event should have a current and specific plan prepared in advance. So, again, they shouldn't be using the same plan for 3 years in a row to do prescribed burns.
Well,
Or they can supplement it.
Well,
Yeah.
or at least update it.
Yeah,
100%, yeah. No problem with that. And again, I would like to see them use the burn, do not burn checklists that are available on the Department of Agriculture websites. And there's actually, I found 2 different ones on the same website. But they more or less say the same thing, just the format's different. And it's all about who gets notified. And, they are suggesting that the county judge should be, county commissioners court should be, local volunteer fire departments, county sheriff's office, Texas Forest Service, regional fire coordinator, and the TCEQ. So it would be nice to see people give those notifications.
There's a lot of fuel out there.
During a burn ban.
This morning, I got notified that Gillespie County put a burn ban on for their county because some brush pile fires got out of hand and stuff. So, it happens. So there's a lot of fuel and wind out there.
Oh, I know.
So, all right. Sheriff, do you have anything for dispatch or from your point of view?
Yeah, a few things. I know we have been having a lot of meetings. I know Don's been part of them on controlled burn versus prescribed burn. And so, the court has asked me to be very strict with the burn ban violations, so we do write tickets on that. One of my questions to you is on a prescribed burn, whether it's a burn ban or not, do they have to have some kind of paperwork on them? If they're actually burning and they're in the field, do they have to have something to show?
So if.
Go ahead and stand up so that people can see you.
So if they're the certified and insured prescribed burn manager burning under a burn ban, it's my understanding from the statutes and the rules that yes, they should have their burn plan with them.
And that's something I'd like to clear up with the court. A couple other things is it's very frustrating for me and my deputies. I mean, they basically focus on criminal law and traffic law, not really the burn ban, but it's my job to educate them. But we have had some situations where we get out there, and the bottom line is I'd like to know if they have to have paperwork or not when they're burning. Whether it's burn ban, not, whatever, because I have to educate my deputies on that. Another thing is, I don't know if the court, we work with the county attorney, can somehow force them. I know you can ask all day long, and it hasn't been very successful, to call the sheriff's office. I don't know if there's some leverage there, because that would help, I can tell you firsthand, and, I do it myself. I mean, whether it's, burn ban, not burn ban, control burn, not, call us, it sure helps us. Normally, I know the fire departments, hey, there's some smoke coming over there, hey, no, there's a call in over there, or something like that. So I kind of look, we need something with a little meat. I don't know if we can get that done, but it would sure help us. But if there's anything to this, please call us, if it's a prescribed burn or just a regular controlled burn.
I think this is, like I told Wesley for when I talked to him the other day about coming in, this is going to be educational a lot. It'll be recorded on YouTube right now. The media is going to touch on it, I'm sure, and it'll be eye-opening for a lot of people, I think, going forward. The main thing is just overdo the contacting of everybody, the VFDs, dispatch, us, you know, if you turn in a burn plan to one of us a year ago or 6 months ago or even 3 months ago, the morning of, the day before, say, hey, we're gonna pull the trigger on it. And that helps.
And
we all
Sheriff?
know-
Yes. No, I was going to just say, and as to having the paperwork in their possession,
Yeah.
feel free to inform whoever you may be dealing with out there that it is the county judge's position that they should have it on, and if they don't, that ought to be some kind of offense.
Okay.
And I would encourage, as I delegate down to the various commissioners, that y'all try to enforce that as well. But in terms of the county, the official county position is, it should be on hand.
Good, thank you. We'll tell the guys. deputies.
One of the big problems is the weather. The wind changes so quickly.
It does.
And even though today I'm planning to burn tomorrow morning comes, wind is up, I ain't burning.
Well, right, and most people are conscious of that.
Most are. And
Yeah,
anyway,
they are.
but it goes beyond the prescribed burns, because even if you're just burning a brush pile, and hey, I've got a couple that I'm waiting on one of these fine days when I have the time, and I know I can be there all day long. But as a minimum, I'm gonna call the sheriff's office, the
Please.
non-emergency
Correct.
number, and I'm gonna call my local VFD so that they know. And that saves the VFD in particular from responding to one of the residents. Somebody saw a big cloud of smoke, and they've called in a fire. Well, if
Correct.
we know that somebody's burning a pile, then we don't have to dispatch the fire department to put something out that was perfectly legal and planned and under control.
Well,
So,
I'm an ag guy, and I don't want anybody to think we're trying to dissuade anybody from doing controlled burn or prescribed burns, because I know the benefits of it, and I taught it as an ag teacher and as a wildlife instructor. It was a key element. It's one of the cheapest tools that a rancher can use out there, under the right conditions. So we're not trying to say don't do it.
I agree.
We're just trying to
just do
be
it right.
prudent.
And
Follow
just-
the procedures.
Just for the last word here, as the county judge. I've talked to people, contractors especially, that don't know who the volunteer fire department is where they're working. They actually don't. And I've always told them, and will continue to tell them, when in doubt, you call the dispatcher, period. When in doubt, call the dispatcher.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else?
No, sir. That's it. Good.
Wesley, thank you for coming down. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Should we have anything on our website that clarifies any of this?
We probably should.
I think we should. And I mean,
Okay.
be happy to work with Commissioner Harris, but any one of these forms, I don't care which one, but we ought to post that, so it's real clear to everybody.
Yeah, that's
Good, good,
All
good.
right, good.
We'll,
Good follow-up.
maybe we'll get with Lisa Walter.
Yes, sir.
Let's move on to item 1.26. Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to authorize the county attorney to execute public declaration letter on behalf of the Kerr County for purposes of declaring public aircraft operations in support of a request for a certificate of authorization or waiver from the Federal Aviation Administration. Got it.
Doug contacted me to ask if I would, write this letter supporting the public declaration that is attached to your, agenda item, hopefully. And I wanted to get the Commissioners Court authority before I submitted it, or gave it to Scott to submit on behalf of the Sheriff's Department, Sheriff's Office. And this is, gives them the ability to, operate in a way that is sort of more realistic for the Sheriff's Office.
So what it is it's the first step of the application for a COA, which is a certificate of authorization from the FAA. So in order, they have an online portal to submit the application, but this is the very first step, is having this public declaration letter from it. So it was kind of weird that it had to come from the county attorney, but I think it's because they have to verify that Kerr County is a political subdivision, as well as the sheriff's office is a law enforcement entity operating under that political subdivision. So that's kind of what it is. So this gives us the ability at the sheriff's office to operate our unmanned aerial systems, which are UAVs or our drones, within the confines of Kerr County without having to get what they call a Part 107, which is a drone operator license to operate, mainly most people with a 107 operate in the commercial aspect or professional things, so like photography type of stuff from it. So this just basically for public safety reasons gives us the opportunity to operate within, under Kerr County umbrella.
Now, do I understand correctly that you already have this public declaration letter?
Yeah.
So this is just a ratification of what's been
No,
done?
so it's been drawn up, it's just, the court would just give Heather the opportunity to sign it. We have to submit it in order for them to even give us access to submit the application to get the COA.
I hear you. My question is there any action for this court to take at this point?
Yes, to authorize me to
Yes.
submit the
Okay.
public declaration.
Okay.
I
Do we have a
move for
motion?
approval.
You got a motion?
Second.
And a second. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Thank you. Item 1.27, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to review the liaison responsibilities and determine liaison appointment for 2026. I put these out. We've trying to get them mixed up a little bit so that we have a broader base of experience going forward. I didn't know if there was any comments or questions about what the recommendations were.
The only comment I have is, I've thoroughly enjoyed being the liaison with CARFA. You know, it's right up my alley.
Absolutely.
And,
But there's a potential conflict of interest because CARFA has to have the interest of all volunteer fire departments, and your loyalty is to two. And I would expect nothing else.
well, then any one of us could have loyalty to only those who are within our precinct, so I'm not buying that argument.
Well, that was why I did it.
Okay.
Can you wear one cap at a time when you go? You know, commissioner
Sure.
cap?
Well,
Of course I can.
You think you have?
Sure. I mean-
I really don't want to get into that in open session.
Okay.
I mean, we have some executive session issues that we can discuss. But my recommendation was to try to go ahead and segregate out CARFA's leadership. And I put it with Commissioner Harris, who had done it before. You've done a great job. But what I want to do is to make sure that I don't have one VFD complaining that there's been partiality or discrimination shown. That's what I was trying to do. We've got 1 year remaining on this term, and he agreed to take that for the time being.
And I didn't campaign for it.
No, he did not.
Put it to the carpet if you want, but anyway.
Okay. So that is really for information purposes. Any other discussion? Let's move on to item 1.28. Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to accept the racial profiling report from Constable Precinct 4. Is Brad here?
If we go back, we will need a court order for those liaison positions.
Oh, we do? Okay. So let's go back to 1.27. Is there a motion to approve the liaison recommendations as presented?
I'll make a motion.
In a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? 3-1. Item 1.28, which is back to the racial profiling report from Constable Precinct 4. I don't think Brad's here. This is a routine. Do we have a motion to approve?
Yes.
Okay, and a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second to approve the racial profiling report from Constable Precinct 4. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Item 1.29. Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to surplus a chair from the Human Resources Department.
I move for
Ms.
approval.
Shelton. No, we want to debate this. Got a second?
Yes.
Motion and a second. Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Thank you. Let's move on to the approval agenda. Item 2.1 are budget amendments.
Yes, you have 7 budget amendments in front of you. 3 of them, the auditor certifying new revenue, and 1 of them is new grant or aid money is available.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion to approve the budget amendments as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. 2.2, pay the bills.
Yes, invoices for today's consideration, $1,978,933.16.
Motion approved.
Got a motion
Second.
and a second to approve the bills as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Item 2.3, late bills.
Yes, invoices amount to $1,466.69.
I move for approval.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second to approve the late bills as presented. Pay the late bills as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. 2.4, auditor reports.
There are not any.
Thank you. Item 2.5, accept monthly reports.
Yes, for December 2025, Kerr County Environmental Health, OSSF, Director Ashley Batters. Kerr County Environmental Health and Animal Services, Director Reagan Gibbons. Treasurer's Office, Kerr County Treasurer Tracy Sullivan. Other reports, racial profiling report, Precinct 3 Constable Paul Gonzalez. Completion award for 20 hours of continuing education for 2025. Nadine Alford, County Clerk. Don Lance, District Clerk. I move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the monthly reports as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Item 2.6, court orders. I have reviewed the court orders from our January 12 meeting. And those are court orders number 41696 through 41723. They all seem to be in order to me, and I make a motion that we approve them as presented.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Moving on to information agenda, status reports from department heads. Charlie Hastings.
Thank you, Judge. We've got a guardrail project at Indian Creek that is forthcoming. Some of those components are still being fabricated, so there's not an exact known date of when the contractor will start, but when he does, he'll need to do some daily closures. The Road and Bridge Administrator, through the Transportation Code, has the ability to close roads as needed, and we would issue a press release once we have a firm schedule.
Okay, very good. Any questions for Mr. Hastings? Thank you. Any other department heads? 3.2, elected officials. Got a few in the room. Sheriff?
Yeah, I know it's been a long one. I just want to talk on one status report. And thank y'all, a couple commissioners, for the kind words. I did want to talk about the freeze. You know, I'm proud of my staff. They did a really good job. We were well prepared this time. But like I said, they did a really good job. And with that, you know, basically I want to thank this court, especially on YouTube and the people in here, for giving us the tools we need to do our job. I mean, we really appreciate it. When I say that, I'm specifically talking about four-wheel drive vehicles. We were able to answer every call. Only 2 of them, they had to walk a little bit. One of them was an accident. But, you know, I know that's a very expensive cost, and I do, people ask me in the public a lot, you know, do you really need that? Do you really need it? Well, maybe 360 days out of the year we don't, but these specific 4, we needed it. We used it. My 3/4 of my fleet is now four-wheel drive. We'll have 8 more coming this year, and those will be four-wheel drive. But I just want the public to know, you know, appreciate it. It's because of y'all that we're able to do our job safely. And we did answer every call. And like I said, I just want to thank y'all for giving us the tools to do our job.
Well, we got caught with our pants down, you know.
Excuse me, yeah, you're right. Only 1 vehicle damaged. I had over 10 vehicles damaged in 21.
Yeah.
You know, the one was a brake line, was on a 2-wheel drive vehicle. Chain came off and broke the brake line. I broke probably 7 or 8 of them in 21. But, you know, those are just things. They're very expensive. We don't need them all the time, but when we do, we're able to get to every person. Not only every person here, as you see, or those of y'all that don't know what happened in Kimball County, you know, 20-plus car pileup. So, you know, we're also able to get to the people on the interstate, and that's where a majority of my deputies spend.
Sure.
Once that freezes and it's traffic stops, we got problems. But everything went fine. 1 vehicle damage. Warming center was excellent. No problems there. We did have 1 arrest on somebody that refused to leave, but you know, it's a whole nother subject. But thank y'all.
very much.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other elected officials? Okay, we'll move on to 3.3, liaison commissioners. Reports.
Yeah, I've had tons of meetings with Upper Guadalupe River Authority, and including Jody and Noel's had to be in some, and I'm gonna tell you that I think it's important that we have that liaison position there, because we're doing all the work trying to move forward with our flood warning systems, and they're gonna be our lead in that, and it's been very helpful and very productive, and we're making tons of progress over there.
Anything else? Okay, with that, we're getting ready to go to our executive session, and I want to identify that item 4.1A, we're going to pass. That is to consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to approve and authorize the county judge to execute an interlocal cooperation contract between the University of Texas at Austin and Kerr County. And we are passing that because Mr. Tennis is not able to be here today, but I can tell you that I have met these young interns. I'm very impressed. This is a great opportunity for the county, and we will take it up at the next Commissioners Court meeting. So with that, we're going to take a 5-minute break, and we'll come back in executive session.